All this story would develop after Goku and Vegeta have defeated on 2 occasions. All the warriors were very worried about the future of Trunks. However, in all of them, a doubt and hatred would happen. Knowing that all this was happening because of Goku, after a while where Goku and Vegeta had trained a little, Vegeta had increased his power in a great way, while Goku had learned the Mafuba. When they all returned to the future, they started again with their great battle. However, this time Trunks managed to successfully seal Zamasu, where Goku and Vegeta were only facing Black after 35 minutes of battle. Black would be in terrible condition and was not able to continue with the battle.
That's what you get for wanting to destroy all the mortals!
They are, Goku. You give your life for them, but in one occasion that'll lead to your death.
Don't make me laugh. They're my friends. They would never do something like that to me.
However, at that precise moment, Vegeta would charge a small sphere of energy, which was directed towards Black, but at that instant, Vegeta would turn quickly and Goku would be without guard. He would be pierced, falling badly wounded to the ground. Black would be very surprised to realize what the Prince of the Saiyans had done.
Vegeta, what the hell are you supposed to be doing?
Kakarot, this is the good for our timeline and for the good of the 12 universes. Your ability to get us into trouble is impressive, and we can't allow this.
That's what I mean, Goku. The mortals are despicable beings who will betray you when they have the slightest opportunity.
Trunks will return to our timeline, while you'll be locked in the time room for this era. Sorry, Kakarot. Vegeta quickly took Black and Goku and went to the Temple of Kami-sama, which was a little destroyed, but this time room was still intact.
Vegeta! Don't do this! If you lock me in this place, I swear I'll continue with the Zero Death plan myself!
Damn insect, I'll never be able to leave this place. Vegeta at the moment was throwing them into the time room. He would destroy the entrance, and at that very moment, Vegeta would increase his power to the limit. Even his muscles would grow too much. If I use this power in battle, I would lose irretrievably, since my muscles are so big they'd make me slow. But the power is amazing, and this is enough. Vegeta would launch a great attack to the dimension. That attack was special. That's right, Vegeta, being much smarter than Goku, was able to master his power to create a barrier around the entire realm of everything. This'll be enough, since you'll have to destroy the same dimension of the time room in my seal. Now, Trunks, let's get back to your new home. Vegeta and Trunks would return thanks to the time machine. When they arrived, everyone would ask Goku. At that moment, Vegeta and Trunks began to explain everything that happened. At the beginning, all of Goku's friends would be a little angry. However, they knew it was the right thing to do and everyone would accept it. However, a much bigger problem was approaching. Meanwhile, in the future of Trunks, more specifically in the time room, Goku and Black were still on the verge of death. Goku would take out one of the seeds that Piccolo had given him from his attire, recovering all his powers quickly, and at that moment he'd observe Black.
One thing you're right about is that all mortals are trash. I gave my life for them. So now Kakarot and Black will be the ones to execute the Zero Human plan.
Goku would throw a seed to Black in the same way. Black at that moment of eating it would heal all his wounds, but just like Son Goku, he had obtained an incredible Zenkai. So now that you're with me, what's the first thing we'll do, oh Goku?
First of all, stop calling me Goku. My real Saiyan name is Kakarot. And second of all, we'll train to be able to take out all those bastards.
Okay, Kakarot, but remember, this time not only mortals are our enemies. If we go back to your timeline, all the gods will turn against us.
I know, Black. For that very reason, we must train in this place. Vegeta left us in the perfect place to increase our power, so we must make the most of it.
I understand, Kakarot. Then that's what we'll do. But how will we defeat all the gods and angels if they get in our way?
First, we must increase our power to the limit. When our powers no longer increases in the same way, we'll call the king of all Zeno-sama.
The king of everything, Zeno-sama? He'll wipe us out in an instant. And another matter, what do you plan to call him? We can't leave this place. At that moment, Kakarot would show him the button that Zeno-sama had given him in his timeline.
Zeno-sama, being like a child, will be very easy to manipulate, so we won't be a problem. When we have manipulated him, we'll have the king himself train us.
Black would be a little surprised to hear Kakarot's plan. What will happen when we're done with our training?
That's more than obvious. We'll kill the dwarf. We'll get out of this damn place and we'll start our revenge against all those bastards.
Black at that moment would understand all of Kakarot's plan, and without wasting any time, both began to train in an incredible way, with the intention of increasing their powers in a fast and safe way. Meanwhile, in the past, Beerus and Whis had arrived to planet Earth, because the King of Everything had requested an exhibition tournament.
Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, let's go to the exhibition tournament, since you'll be facing Universe 9.
At that moment, a tense atmosphere fell all over the planet Earth. That's right, no one present knew how to tell him what happened with Son Goku. At that moment, Whis would notice the presence of Trunks, however not the presence of Lord Goku.
Well, apparently something very serious has happened, as I can tell Mr. Goku is not in the entire Universe 7.
At that moment, Beerus would be very astonished by Whis' words. At the moment of asking for an explanation, he was furious and would raise a part of his Hawkeye energy, and at the same instant, Vegeta would step in front of everyone, explaining to Beerus everything they had done with the Saiyan Goku.
What did you do? This is something very difficult to assimilate. The same friends of Mr. Goku for whom Mr. Goku gave his life.
Mr. Beerus, Whis, please understand that Kakarot's insect only brought misfortune. Because of him, the Tournament of Power was organized. At that moment, Beerus and Whis would remain silent, knowing that what the Saiyan Vegeta had said was true.
This is no time to argue. In that case, Vegeta, Trunks, and Majin Buu, you will be the representatives of Universe 7 in this exhibition tournament.
At that moment, everyone went to the planet of the Supreme Kaioken to arrive quickly to the place where Daishoken was selected. However, Kai was a little surprised because he did not observe Goku. At the moment they arrived, Daishoken would begin with the explanation of the rules of the Tournament of Strength. The battles in this situation would be Majin Buu in the first battle, Trunks in the second battle, while Vegeta in the third battle. At the end of the battle, the time Toppo would not jump to the platform as he did not consider Vegeta worthy, since he did not use the Super Saiyan Blue. Universe 7 takes the victory of this tournament. In this instant, I'll explain the rules of the Tournament of Power. Daishoken would explain all the rules that were known. However, this time, the time would be 1 month. That's right, the Warriors had 1 month to prepare for the Tournament of Power. All the gods returned to their universes, and each of them began to train their most powerful warriors. Meanwhile, in the future, Kakarot and Black had already raised their power in an impressive way. However, at that time, Kakarot was becoming much more evil, being betrayed. His true Saiyan part had awakened, so this was much more cold and intelligent.
If the Super Saiyan God was at the base state, and the Super Saiyan Blue in a nutshell is the Super Saiyan 1, we can reach the other variants of the Super Saiyan.
I don't know if that's correct, because in the divine world, the power scales are a little different from what we know.
We don't lose anything trying, so we'll take our bodies to the limit. You don't know how much I hope to end the life of Vegeta's insect. The new Saiyan Prince will be me.
Kakarot and Black would continue with their rigorous training, which consisted of achieving that their body resists all the possible energy load. To achieve this, they had to reach a physical that hardly a Saiyan could reach. However, both continued forward by the desire for revenge that motivated them. After spending approximately 3 years in that place, Black and Kakarot were able to reach Phase 2 of their transformations. This power is incredible. I'm sure that with this power, no one will be able to face us. They won't be able to fight us.
Don't get impatient, Black. When it'll reach the better of the Super Saiyan Phase 3, not to take risks. When we have reached that form and our power hasn't increased as it's currently doing, it'll be time to call the King of Everything.
I don't believe that any god or angel will be able to face us with the power we have now. Kakarot would, at that moment, return to observe him with a serious look, which would leave Black trembling, which would again train and would say to himself, Kakarot's power and mine are similar. I don't know why I'm so afraid of him. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, Vegeta, Trunks, and all the warriors were having a great training with the god Beerus and his angel Whis. That's right, no one wanted to lose, and knowing that they did not have Son Goku, they focused on the Saiyans, which increased their power in an impressive way.
Mr. Vegeta, as I explained, now you are able to dominate your destructive power. With that power, you have a maximum defense and attack.
Thank you very much, Whis. With this power, no one will be able to face me. But Vegeta was not the only one who had increased his battle power, since Trunks had achieved the Super Saiyan God while Gohan was able to reach the Beast Mode, when Beerus threatened to end the life of his daughter.
I can see that everyone has increased their power in a surprising way. I'm surprised. There's still 15 days left, in which we will increase a little bit more. We'll not let Universe 7 disappear. I'll even give my life.
All the other warriors continued training, and at the moment of increasing their powers, lightning, mountains, fire spheres, everything seemed a complete chaos. Returning to the room of time, Kakarot and Black would continue training in the same way. To become much more powerful, after one more year, Kakarot and Black had strengthened their body in a great way. At that moment, Black felt ready to reach the Super Saiyan Phase 3 because he didn't want to stay behind Kakarot, who had reached it 5 months ago. Black began to increase his power in a great way, making everything around him tremble. And in the same way as the Saiyans, his power destroyed everything around him. So Black had reached the Super Saiyan Phase 3 Rose. Black's power continued to increase in a surprising way. The power he was releasing was so much that even the barrier that Vegeta had created had been destroyed. The entire planet Earth began to cause disasters, as if a true god had come to that place. At that moment, Black had finished his transformation, observing him in the powerful Super Saiyan Rose Phase 3. The power was releasing was incredible. Kakarot, who had already reached the transformation 6 months ago, he was only dominating the energy wear. That's right, Kakarot was only dominating his new transformation. Oh yeah, I've had enough power to even eliminate the barrier of that damn Vegeta. Now I'm ready. Kakarot, a little annoyed because every time Black reached a new transformation he thought he could defeat any being, Kakarot would stand in front of him.
If you are so prepared, that's fine. If you manage to defeat me, I'll call Zeno-sama right now and we'll start with the new training.
Black's body warned him not to attack, however, Black would not pay attention to his instincts, throwing himself against Kakarot, which dodged his blows with extreme ease. Black, furious because Kakarot was only playing with him and only dodged and blocked his blows, furious, would begin to attack with much more speed. However, his power was not enough.
Damn it, Kakarot! If you have the power to hit me, do it! Oh, Black, if that's what you want, I'll do it!
Black at that moment would be hit by a strong blow, however, it had really been an airwave. That's right, the power of the blow of Kakarot had been so much that his fist had created a blast of air that almost knocked out Black. Kakarot at that moment began to fight against Black, but unlike Black was that Kakarot was only using one of his arms. And this made Black more and more enraged, and due to the anger, he didn't fight in an intelligent way, leaving several neglected points, which Kakarot took advantage of to do great damage. After approximately 12 hours of battle, in which Kakarot had taken them as a warm-up, Black was very hurt because he had used all his power and he had not been able to do anything.
How are you so powerful if we have the same body? It's true! We have the same body, but one thing that Vegeta's insect was right about is that you don't have the Saiyan cells in your soul, or rather in your spirit.
That has nothing to do with it. Since all the Saiyan cells are in the body, they're not in the soul or spirit, as you say. You're wrong.
Maybe I'm wrong, but the truth is that only I'm able to get 100% out of my body, but I'll teach you to master it as if it were your own.
At that moment, Black would fall out of combat. However, this was with a smile. To achieve the Super Saiyan Rose Phase 3, Kakarot would take him to one of the beds, which had the room, and let him rest, and at that time, Kakarot would continue training. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, there were only 7 days left for the Tournament of Power to begin. However, the Universe 7 had increased its power in an amazing way. That's right, the power that they had obtained had been so much that even Beerus and Whis would be surprised, since the power of Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, and Frieza had grown in such an amazing way that even for Trunks, the other three were able to defeat the god Beerus, and even Vegeta and Frieza fighting together were able to force Whis to use 45% of all his power. And that was a beastly, since Whis was a guardian angel.
Everyone has increased the power in a surprising way. I was shocked.
With the great team, no one will be able to face Universe 7.
At this moment, I would love for that dirty Saiyan Goku to be here to tear him to pieces with my bare hands.
I have finally overcome the power of Kakarot's insect. Now, I'm the most powerful Saiyan of all the existing universes.
In these last 7 days, you can do whatever you want. Perfect for some technique, continue training, or spend time with your family.
Let's continue training. When the power of tournament is over, I can go with them because if we lose, we'll all be eliminated.
What a great determination, Vegeta. You leave me surprised. Now, you are my best warrior. You've been able to defeat Super Son Goku. The Universe 7 is in your hands.
At that moment, everyone started their training again, which consisted in dominating their internal energy as well as their emotions, and at that moment, some rocks of all that place would rise, and lightning would fall all over that place. All the warriors were meditating for approximately 3 days. Meanwhile, in the realm of nothingness, Daishinkan was building the platform of the Tournament of Power. However, this was from one moment to the other would wonder, Universe 7 in the exhibition tournament did not bring Lord Goku. How strange. As I understood, he was the most powerful warrior in that universe. Meanwhile, in the time room, Black had already woken up and was training in the same way. After spending 3 years inside, Black and Kakarot had already mastered their transformation completely, so both were ready to start their new training. At that moment, Kakarot would press Zeno-sama's button, making him appear in the time room a little confused. Huh? You come from another timeline. That's a felony in my multiverse.
I know, Zeno-sama, but we've been trapped here for that reason. I was hoping that you could give us an increase of our powers to go back to our time, please.
That's okay. I don't have anything else fun to do anyway, so we better start when you're ready.
We're always ready.
Well then, I hope you're ready because with my training, you'll want to die! That moment, Kakarot was about to say something about it, however, an oppressive pressure would fall all over that place. That's right, the power of Zeno-sama seemed to crush them. Some parts of their bodies were more affected, even their heart began to pump much more blood to be able to recover all the lost blood. The power of Zeno-sama even made them both fall to the ground, returning to their base state.
What the hell is this pressure? I thought I was physically strong enough to withstand it.
I can't move a single finger. I feel like it's breaking all my bones. This can't be happening. If with the pressure of 5% of my power you're not able to move, then you're not worthy to receive my training. Black and Kakarot were surprised to know that the pressure they felt was only 5% of the total power of Zeno-sama. Kakarot, feeling humiliated, said to himself,
If I access the Super Saiyan Blue Phase 3, I won't be able to do anything. But if I access the Super Saiyan God that possesses regeneration, I'll be able to do something about it.
Kakarot at that moment would pass to the Super Saiyan God, however he was still unable to stand up. But after a few more minutes, Kakarot was able to stand up. However, his whole body was trembling. This is incredible. One was able to stand up and the other is simply a worm that can't do anything. Black with those words would pass to the Super Saiyan Rose Phase 1, and that was the one that consumed less energy and the one that was better controlled. Black, after approximately 3 hours, was able to stand up. And that's right, Black was only able to stand up for only 7 seconds, and at that moment he'd fall to the ground again. That's enough. From tomorrow, we'll start with this hell. Kakarot and Black rested for the day. As they began their training, Zeno-sama had created multiple replicas of Black. I've created multiple replicas. When you're able to defeat them, we'll go on to new training. But don't be confident as I've given you part of my power. Kakarot and Black would begin to fight with their respective replicas, realizing that even in their most powerful transformation, they were not able to do anything to those replicas. Meanwhile, on Beerus' planet, they had already finished their meditation. At the moment, Beerus would approach everyone, but especially Vegeta and Frieza. I want to observe the maximum of your powers, so you start, Vegeta. Don't hold back. As you command, Beerus-sama. I'll leave nothing unguarded. Vegeta at that moment would begin to increase his power in such an amazing way that even the entire universe of 7 would begin to tremble. Vegeta's ki was overwhelming those present except Frieza. At that moment of a great wave of purple energy, Vegeta would be observed in his Ultra Ego phase. This is my power, Beerus-sama.
Your power is even more greater than mine, but if I transform, I would still be able to defeat you. But excellent level. Now you, Frieza.
Vegeta would remain a little thoughtful since he didn't know that the God Destroyer Beerus had a transformation. At that moment, Frieza, like Vegeta, would begin to raise his power, making the whole planet tremble. Lightning and fireballs fell all around him. That's right, his power was even a little higher than Vegeta's. In the transformation from a curtain of smoke could be seen Black Frieza.
This is all my power, Mr. Beerus, and my transformation I'm able to master 100%. And not like the last time I didn't master my golden state. I think it's excellent now, yes. You're able to do whatever you want in these 4 remaining days. I'm sure that Universe 7 will be the winner.
Beerus was very sure of being the winner, however, in all the other universes, all their warriors were also training. Especially in Universe 11, Jiren and Toppo had received a great training by the Daisy Angel. No one will be able to defeat Universe 11. The power of Jiren and Toppo even surpasses me. I doubt that any other universe has 2 more powerful warriors.
Do not trust Mr. Vermouth, because we could get a big surprise.
Returning to Universe 7 on Earth, everyone is gathered where Bulma had created a great banquet for the Tournament of Power.
I'm sure that all of you will be victorious and return safe and sound.
You can take it for granted, woman. No one will be able to defeat the Prince of the Saiyans. Meanwhile, in the time room, Black and Kakarot were able to defeat the replicas that Zeno-sama created, and every 2 weeks they got used to their power. After 5 more years, the power of Black and Kakarot had increased in a great way, but they had not achieved any other transformation. Now that they have the physique as hard as diamond, the resistance of their body is something that any warrior could find difficult to achieve. It's time to teach them the Super Saiyan Phase 4.
Super Saiyan Phase 4?
Is there such a transformation? At that moment, Zeno-sama would throw a sphere of energy to the sky, and this would create a great explosion, since Zeno-sama did not control its power. Yeah. That's right, Zeno-sama had thrown a great wave of white energy to the ground that was assimilated to the moon. Nevertheless, a great explosion would be created by all that place. At the moment that everything was dissipated, Black and Kakarot would observe the moon filament. In that instant, both began to transform into 2 gigantic Uzorus. At the moment, Zeno-sama would say to himself, "So you've achieved it. I hope you reach the transformation of Super Saiyan Phase 4 when you get all that majestic power. I'll absorb you." That's right, the Zeno-sama of the future was much more evil than the Zeno-sama of the past, and the only thing he wanted was the power beyond a king of everything. Zeno-sama watched as everything around him trembled, and various spheres of energy destroyed the whole place. I, as the king of everything, I give you the ability, divine control. At that moment, a tiny ray came out of Zeno-sama's finger towards Black and Kakarot, who were able to regain consciousness, managing to control all that power. What happened? Why does my body feel so much bigger?
So, we've transformed into Zorus.
At that moment, both began to transform into Super Saiyan Phase 4. Kakarot had access to the Super Saiyan Phase 4 Blue, while Black to his Rose state. At that moment, the whole sky of the dimension began to have rays, and at that moment, both subjects would appear with their new transformations, leaving Zeno-sama surprised. The power they gave off is impressive. They even surpassed the power of Daishinken. They're still no match for me. I'd better finish them now that I can. However, Zeno-sama was not the only one who planned to finish them off, since at that moment Kakarot already wished to end Zeno-sama's life by communicating telepathically with Black.
Now that we've obtained all this power, we're ready to finish with this dwarf. So get ready, at the slightest opportunity, we'll do it.
Don't you think it's too soon? We must master all this power.
We could do that on our own, since that miserable dwarf also wants to finish us off.
What do you say? Why do you think that? He has been training us.
As far as I can tell, what he wants is to take our powers. Since his ki power is mixed with the guardian angels, there's no other explanation.
That's right, Kakarot, by leaving his kind side, had become much more intelligent and cold, not letting anything go unnoticed. At that moment, Zeno-sama would approach them. Congratulations! You've reached Super Saiyan Phase 4. Now just master your power. That is essential for your ki, as it's not so heavy and have better agility in battles. Black and Kakarot began to train. Zeno-sama was also looking for the opportunity to finish with one of them in one blow or leave them on the verge of death. because if being joined together, they would be a real problem. At the end of their training, both were a little exhausted, or that was what Zeno-sama believed, since both subjects were also reserving energy for an unexpected attack. At that very moment, Zeno-sama would launch an attack. "It is now, mere mortals, I'll keep your powers." Zeno-sama would direct a powerful blow to Black, who did not have the same power as Kakarot. Since this one was a little weaker, however, he was surprised when Black had increased his power from one moment to another, pushing him away with the explosion of his ki. "So you really wanted to finish with all of us? You're a bastard. You never wanted to help us increase our power. You only wanted us to be part of you." "There's no point in hiding my intentions. You're right. I just wanted you to become more powerful than take your power for myself."
Too bad that won't be possible, because now we're capable of entering your miserable life.
Don't make me laugh, you fucking mortal. They must have no energy since they just finished their training, so you're not able to do anything against me.
Why don't you check for yourself if we can't do anything back?
Zeno-sama, furious, would throw himself against Kakarot and Black, but to his surprise, both released a power even greater than Zeno-sama knew. That's right, the power of both had been so much that it would leave even Zeno-sama surprised. "I can't be. This hasn't been happening. I've trained those damn monsters. I agreed to end my life. Those Saiyans just like me from the beginning through to the end of my life." At that moment, Black and Kakarot threw themselves against Zeno-sama, who, in spite of being a king of everything, was not able to do anything. That's right, Zeno-sama seemed to be a simple insect. The power of Black Kakarot hid was even so great that it surpassed the power of a king of everything, and they were capable of facing 3 Zeno-samas at the same time. After Black Kakarot had humiliated him in the worst way, they had left him very badly injured on the floor.
So you call yourself a king of everything? You've bitten the dust more times than I can remember. You're nothing more than a simple insect.
We're the only true ones to be called the kings of all, not a simple weakling like you, who doesn't even know how to rule the universes. Damn you! I should never have trusted such cursed subjects as you. I should have absorbed you from the beginning, the worst creation in all existence. Well, a simple creation will finish the king of everything. How funny, don't you think? In that instant, Black and Kakarot would touch the body of Zeno-sama, starting to devour all his spiritual sea. All that power was entering the body of Kakarot and Black. That's right, their bodies seemed to fill with energy. The screams of Zeno-sama were chilling. Zeno-sama at that moment regretted having finished with the lives of all the angels, since they also felt all this agony. At the moment that Zeno-sama was without power, they stopped absorbing energy. At that moment, the power of both Saiyans had increased in an incredible way. That's right, the power of both subjects already surpassed the power of a king altogether. This power is amazing. We must control it, and we'll finally start with what we've been wishing for a long time. At that moment, Kakarot would charge a sphere of energy, throwing it to the weakened Zeno-sama, finishing with the life of this one and not leaving any trace.
You're right, Black. Let's master all this power, and we'll finally finish with all those bastards.
Kakarot and Black began to control all the power they had absorbed from Zeno-sama. Meanwhile, on the planet of Earth in the past, there was one day left for the Tournament of Power, in which everyone was ready. So, Universe 7 would look very confident in taking the victory. The next day, the big moment had come. The members of Universe 7 would be Frieza, Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, Trunks, Master Roshi, Krillin, Tenshinhan, and androids 17 and 18. That's right, all these warriors would be the representatives of Universe 7.
Well, I hope you're ready, because in 5 minutes the High Priest will teleport us to the realm of nothingness.
I trust you. You have the necessary power, so you can do it. At that moment, all the warriors would be teleported to the realm of nothingness, and at the moment of arriving, not so much had happened in which all the universes would begin to arrive. At the moment of arriving, the Universe 11, all the warriors gave off an amazing power, leaving surprised all the other gods and participants of the tournament. At that moment, at the top of the hole, the Great Priest would make an appearance. Thank you all for coming. The rules that I explained in the Tournament of Strength are still maintained, so the best universe will win. Start! In that moment, all the warriors were launched against everyone. That's right, the Tournament of Power had begun. Meanwhile, in the Room of Time, After that year, Black and Kakarot had been able to dominate all that heavy power. It's time, Kakarot. We're able to powerfully be enough.
I agree with you, Black. It's time to pay those bastards a visit.
Black would raise his power a little, being able to open a dimension, through which Black and Kakarot would leave. At the moment of leaving, Black would use his time ring, creating a space rift. But unlike before, Black, to overcome the power of a king of everything, had the ability to stay in that place as long as he wished, and would not be dragged by the space-time. Black and Kakarot would arrive to planet Earth, observing everything. At the moment, Bulma noticed two subjects. She'd panic.
But if it's Goku and Black, aren't you two supposed to be trapped?
So you Bulma knew that Vegeta's insect did it to me, and you agreed. Now because of that act, I'm gonna wipe out this whole miserable planet.
Bulma would not believe what Goku would say, since she knew him since he was a child and knew that his behavior was not like that. But her impression was great when she realized that Goku was talking seriously. That's right, the Goku she knew was dead. His heart now possessed evil. Kakarot didn't care about destroying the Earth with a single attack. That's right, the planet Earth at that moment would explode, ending the lives of all mortals. Kakarot and Black searched quickly the entire universe without success. Damn it! Where the hell are those damned ones? At that moment, Kakarot would remember the Tournament of Power, and by teleporting to the planet of Beerus, his doubts would be completely solved.
Black, all the gods, angels, and most powerful mortals are in that place that Zeno-sama Daishaken created for the Tournament of Power.
That'll be a problem since we don't know how to get to that place. Kakarot and Black were in deep thought. However, at that moment, they had been able to feel the power of Zeno-sama. That's right, since they both possessed a key in the same dimension of a king, that they would be able to feel the power of Zeno-sama. Kakarot and Black would use hoods that would cover their entire face, and at that moment, they would teleport. However, both had enough power to disappear their ki completely, and prostrate themselves in a place that was even higher than the High Priest. Observing everything that had happened, at the moment that both subjects had arrived, at the moment no universe had been destroyed. However, the two subjects stared at the entire Universe 7, especially the Saiyan Vegeta, who felt a strong pressure falling on him. What the hell is happening? I feel a pressure crushing me. Vegeta, without giving importance, would pass to the Super Saiyan Blue to relieve a little pressure. At that moment, Black, without containing his anger, from above would give a scream. Prince good for nothing! You're nothing! Your power is a shame! At that moment, all the fights had stopped when observing two guys who were at the top of the mountain. Damn, Worm! What did you say?
What you heard, insect. You're Prince good for nothing.
Vegeta, furious, would launch an attack, giving him a few good blows to Black. However, all the angels realized that although Vegeta's blows would hit, he wasn't hurting him. Vegeta at that moment would realize the power of his opponents, passing the Super Saiyan Blue maximum power, making everything tremble and leaving surprised all the other gods. If you raise your power, I'll do the same. At that moment, Black began to increase his power, leaving everyone surprised, even Daishaken. Black's power seemed to have no limits. Black would begin to raise his power in an incredible way, leaving even Daishaken surprised, since the power that was being released was comparable to that of an angel. Who is that guy? He must not be an ordinary mortal, since his power exceeds by dozens of times the power of a god, being on par with an angel. At that moment, a pink aura would cross the entire realm of nothingness. At that precise moment, Vegeta would remember Black. However, he did not believe it, knowing that they were in the future locked in the time room. I don't know who the hell you are, but your power seems very familiar to an enemy I defeated a few years ago.
So you defeated me, good for nothing, Prince. Do you want me to beat you back the way I beat you last time? I'm your worst nightmare.
Black at that precise moment was able to give him a powerful blow which would make the Prince of the Saiyans spit blood. Meanwhile, in the stands of the spectators, Beerus had been surprised, since he knew that the power of Vegeta was not weak at all.
Who is that guy? How was he able to bring Vegeta to his knees? Stand up, you bastard. Right now we'll return the favor for leaving us in that damn room. We'll finish you all off.
This can't be happening. You guys are...
So you figured it out. That's right, we are Black and Goku, who you left us locked in the time room, and we've come to finish you all off.
At that moment, Jiren would approach Black. I don't know what you want, but but I won't let you interrupt the tournament of which I'll be the winner. I want to bring back my family, so go away. Black would ignore him, but at that moment, Jiren would direct a powerful blow. However, Kakarot would stand in front of that great blow, stopping it with one hand, but the power had been so much, leaving their faces exposed.
But if it's Goku, how is this possible? Wasn't he sealed in the future? Damn it! Black and Lord Goku are back! The power that they have obtained can't be calculated. If Black was able to bring my father to his knees. Beerus! Beerus! So you know that the traitor Vegeta left me locked in the time room and you weren't able to do anything. You're a bastard. That wasn't my problem, it's a mortal's business.
Goku in that moment, furious, would give a scream, passing into the Super Saiyan Blue Phase 3. With a great blow would send Jiren to fly, and at a great speed, Goku would take Beerus by the head, dragging him all over the platform of the Tournament of Power. Beerus, without being able to do anything, only received such a brutal beating in a matter of seconds. Vegeta, without holding back, would increase his power to the maximum. That's right, Vegeta in that same moment began to increase his power to the max, and Black would observe this, would move away just a little bit.
That's right, Prince. Increase your power to the maximum, because I want to crush you when you are using everything you have.
Daishoken at that moment would about to launch himself to stop them. However, in the words of Zeno-sama, would take him out of his thoughts.
No, Daishoken. This is too much fun. Let everyone face my friend Goku and the being that looks like Goku.
But sir, this is a lousy idea. The power of both guys is incredible, and it seems they're still far from their limits. This could be a lousy idea. Didn't you hear what the king said? Don't contradict him. Daishoken at that moment would only begin to observe everything that was happening. At that very moment, Vegeta had accessed the Ultra Ego, dominated 100%.
With this power, I'm much more powerful than a god of destruction, so I can finish you quickly.
All the gods of destruction were very astonished by the power of the warrior of Universe 7.
Power of that mortal is incredible. The only one who could face him would be Jiren, but
despite that, he would have a very difficult battle with that Saiyan. Meanwhile, with the Saiyan Goku and Beerus, Jiren at that moment would enter the battle, giving a strong blow to Goku, which would make Goku release Beerus.
I don't know who the hell you are, but the blow you dealt me earlier, I swear I'll return it to you by returning every one of your bones to ashes. I wonder if you can do it. You're a mere mortal with a little power.
Jiren at that moment was furious and would raise his power to the maximum, creating a great stream of fire all around. The Vermouth god of Universe 7 would be surprised when realizing that Jiren released 100% of all his power. However, Jiren's power was not the most surprising, since at that very moment the powerful god among the 12 had accessed his transformation, which he had never used, and his destructive energy was shooting everywhere. The most surprised would be Black, since the power of Beerus could not compare with anything to Beerus of his timeline.
Apparently, the power of that god at that time is much more powerful, but it'll not be enough to kill Kakarot.
Don't say stupid things. You hadn't had the training with an angel, so you don't know how to master his ki.
You're right. We didn't have the training with an angel. We had training with the king of everything from the future, a being much more powerful than the angels. The only one capable of facing us would be Daishoken.
That can't be possible. What you're saying are simple lies.
I don't care what you believe. Even today, you'll cease to exist.
Vegeta, without caring about what Black had told him, would throw himself against him. However, Black dodged all his blows, and that was Black who was dominating the Ultra Instinct. It was that Vegeta's power was very distant from Black's, and even Black was still in Super Saiyan Rose. He still then accessed his Phase 3. Meanwhile, Beerus and Goku would stare at each other, and at that moment, the clash of their fists began to destroy everything around them.
This is unbelievable. Mr. Goku's power has raised so high that he's even able to match Mr. Beerus 100%. I'm much more powerful than Mr. Beerus. I'll kill that damn Saiyan once and for all.
Frieza at that moment would throw a treacherous attack. However, Goku would realize it by teleporting quickly, and with a strong blow would pierce Frieza, leaving him on the ground badly wounded. Even though Frieza was in his black transformation, he wasn't able to withstand such a blow.
You better go back to hell. Soon I'll send you to Vegeta's trash to keep you company. I hope you don't think of coming back to life.
Goku at that moment, without any mercy, would throw a large sphere of red energy, which would quickly disintegrate him, leaving everyone surprised, including Vegeta, who knew that Kakarot was not like that.
Why are you so surprised? This is normal. The being that gave his life to protect you died. I'm Kakarot, the Annihilator.
The essence of my friend Goku is pure evil. I don't like that. Guards, Daishaken, finish with both beings and don't let their souls go to paradise or hell. I want you to finish with all traces of their existence.
Of course, great Zeno-sama. Whatever you order. Daishaken would continue to observe everything that was happening. That's right, even the most powerful Daishaken-sama was nervous to witness how Beerus, the most powerful god of all, was not able to do anything against Son Goku. Both Guardians launched themselves against Goku, who was not able to dodge a combo attack, causing him some damage.
Well, apparently all the beings of this era are much more powerful than the beings of the future.
Black would leave Vegeta in terrible condition, even making him return to his base state.
I'm tired of playing with you. It's time for me to end your pathetic life.
Black would begin to charge a large sphere of energy. However, in one leap, he was able to dodge Trunks, who was able to cut him with a sword.
I forgot about you. I thought you had gone to another timeline. But this is perfect. I'll be able to finish you and the Duck Prince. Trunks, get out of here. You don't have the power to face him. He'll fish you off without even realizing it.
Of course not. I'll become very powerful. I'm able to face this wretch.
But the words of Vegeta had been true, because Black at that moment, with a great blow, would leave him out of combat and would approach Trunks.
As I know, the more the Saiyans get angry, the more their power increases. Let's see how much power you can increase with the death of your pathetic son.
Black at that moment would create a great sword of energy, which would cut the head of Trunks. All the gods and angels were very surprised by what Black had done. At that moment that the head of Trunks was about to fall to the ground, Black would make it ashes along with his body. With a great attack of energy, Vegeta, to witness the death of his son, began to increase his power again in a way so surprising that even would draw the attention of Goku.
So Black ended the life of Trunks insect. Apparently he helped him to reach a new level.
Vegeta would continue to increase his power, activating the Ultra Ego again. But unlike before, the power that Vegeta emanated was much more destructive and powerful.
That's much more credible. The power of Vegeta by the Fury was able to defeat his Ultra Ego at level 2. The Ultra Ego is a power that depends on the anger, unlike the Ultra Instinct, which is able to calm and peace that the body possesses.
Vegeta, without saying anything about it, would launch himself against Black. Meanwhile, Goku was finishing with both Guardians since he had left Beerus and Jiren very badly wounded, so that they would not be hindrances in the battle.
Damn, the power of those bastards is something big. They're focusing on me to use a little more of my true power.
Simple mortal, you're nothing compared to us. I don't know what happened to you, but you would have stayed in the dimension you were in, and at least you wouldn't have died.
I would have stayed in that place? Well, listen then. You made me furious, and right now I'll finish with each of you.
Goku at that moment increased his power to the max, managing to observe the face of an Ozaru. That's right, Goku was transforming into Super Saiyan 4 Blue. The power that he released was so much that it made the whole kingdom shake out of nowhere.
The power that Son Goku is releasing is amazing. I don't even know if I'd be able to stop it.
The moment Goku finished his transformation, he began to exchange blows with the Guardians. But unlike before, this time it was Goku who was putting them in trouble. Goku's power had soared so much that the Guardians had no chance.
I'm no longer interested in knowing about you, Vegeta. I'll finish you. I'll face Daishaken, who will be a worthy rival.
Black at that moment would take Vegeta by the neck despite having aggressive energy. The energy that Black was using was much more aggressive, managing to disintegrate Vegeta.
I want to continue fighting. You choose. All the angels against me, or a battle with the great priest Daishaken.
Black had finished with the lives of Vegeta and Trunks in a few seconds, while Goku had been able to knock out Jiren along with Beerus, the most powerful god among the 12. Not enough with this, he was able to finish with Frieza. Goku would continue exchanging blows with both Guardians, which were putting him in some trouble. At that moment, Black would repeat again what he had said a few minutes ago.
Will no one be able to face me? Then I'll choose my opponents.
Black at that precise moment had launched himself against all 12 angels. That's right, Black had created a scythe of energy directed at all the angels. Angels, attack position! Finish with that damn Saiyan. The 12 Guardian Angels had placed themselves in battle pose to be ready to face Black. At that precise moment, all the Angels launched themselves against Black, but to everyone's surprise, Black was dodging each of their blows. However, it was becoming very complicated. At that moment, a big explosion was felt in the whole kingdom out of nowhere. That's right, Goku had created a big explosion to send both Guardians to fly, since Goku was in trouble.
Wow, it seems they're worthy of fighting against 45% of my power.
Goku at that moment increased his power a little more, and at an incredible speed, he had sent them both to fly with a few blows. However, the Guardians would not be left behind. Duel Divine Annihilator! At that moment, one of the Guardians sent Goku flying with a great blow, while the other began to charge a great attack, being even more powerful when the second Guardian had increased the destructive power of the attack. Apparently, they've ended the life of my friend Goku, but it was the best thing for the 12 universes. So the power that he was giving off was negative in its totality. After the smoke dissipated, everyone was able to observe Goku, who had stopped it with one hand, leaving both Guardians surprised, including Daishinkan. Son Goku's power is big enough to take on both Guardians. Won't be easy at all to take these guys down.
They've been good opponents, but they're not able to give me a real battle.
Goku at that moment would move at lightning speed, cutting the heads of both Guardians in a matter of seconds. Goku at that moment would appear in front of Daishinkan.
You're the one I want to fight with. I want to see for myself how incredible your power is said to be.
Goku at that moment would direct a great fist to Daishinkan, which was able to stop him. All the gods as well as the angels had rejoiced since their last hope had entered the battlefield. Daishinkan at that moment would grant him a great blow, sending him to fly to hundreds of mountains around him. At that moment that Goku recovered, he would feel a great pain in all his face since that's where Daishinkan had granted him a great blow. I know it'll be a difficult battle, but I know I'm capable of defeating you, mortal.
We won't know until that fight happens.
Meanwhile, with the battle of Black against the Angels, Black was a little hurt, but on the part of the Angels had already fallen 8 of them, leaving only 4. At that time, Black, to realize the power of Daishinkan even exceeded the power of Daishinkan at that time, Black began to take the battle much more seriously, being able to kill 2 more of them. That's right, Black had finished with a large sphere of energy, but at that moment he noticed that Vados and Whis were still standing.
We won't let you interrupt our father's battle. We know that Mr. Goku's much more powerful than you. If the 2 of you face him, it will be a problem.
You're right. Kakarot's much more powerful than me, but that doesn't mean you won't be able to stop me. Watch this.
Black at that moment began to increase his power in an incredible way. Lightning fell all over the place. That's right, the power of an extremely powerful being had appeared again. Black in that instant had accessed the Super Saiyan Phase 4 Rose, leaving everyone surprised.
Do you think you can face me with this power? I doubt it, since they don't possess the necessary ki to make even a scratch on me, and I'll leave them with proof of my power.
Black at that moment would teleport, appearing behind both angels, which were the most powerful. Regardless of this, Black began to humiliate them in an incredible way. Returning to the battle of Goku and Daishinkan, the battle seemed to be very even. However, the power of Daishinkan at every moment was becoming much bigger. While Goku was already using all his power, Daishinkan at that moment in one of his fingers would create a large sphere of energy. At that moment of throwing it, it would become a giant sphere. Goku would try to stop it, but it had become useless. Goku was involved in that great explosion. Black at the moment had been able to end the lives of both angels, and in the same way he was surprised to not feel the ki of Kakarot. Daishinkan would return to observe him in an intimidating way, and without mediating words, began to give him a beating to Black. If Son Goku wasn't able to beat me, you won't be able to do anything to me. Kakarot, are you dead? This is the only beginning of our revenge. Daishinkan, who was massacring Black at that moment, he realized that the whole kingdom from nothing would start to shake in an incredible way. At that moment, a great light would appear in front of everyone, and in the same way, you could see a Goku, which seemed to be in its base state, but something different, with the color of his eyes, which were an intimidating gray. Goku at that moment would observe Daishinken massacring Black, and at a speed that no one was able to observe, he was able to give a great blow, sending Daishinken to fly hundreds of meters back.
Black, are you okay? Get away from here. I'll take care of that bastard.
Kakarot, is that you? How did you get that power? This is unbelievable.
Goku wouldn't say a single word. He just started to give some hits to Daishinken, which this time caused a lot of damage. After an exchange of blows where Daishinken was a little affected, Daishinken decided to increase his power a little more. Balancing the battle a little more, Beerus, who had already recovered thanks to the help of the other gods, was surprised to realize that Son Goku had been able to reach the Ultra Instinct. However, he had not mastered it 100% because at the time of attacking, Goku was still thinking about his movements. Beerus at that moment would observe how Black was recovering his energy.
I must not give time to that other bastard to recover. If he does it, he'll be the end of us all. Even if I have to sacrifice myself for the 12 universes, I'll do it.
Beerus at that very moment would launch an attack against Black, starting to fight in a very even battle. Since Black at the time of fighting with Daishinken had decreased too much with his battle level, not having the overwhelming power of before. Meanwhile with Zeno-sama, this was very nervous to realize that not even Daishinken was able to end the life of Son Goku.
Hell, if I don't do something, that miserable mortal will end my life. I must do something right now. Must not allow him to become more powerful.
The battle between the two continued. However, when Black began to take a little advantage, all the 11 remaining gods had joined the battle.
We're not beings of low power that you could just ignore. We're destroyer gods. Between all of us, we'll finish you off. Thanks, brother. I owe you one.
At that moment, a great energy of destruction was approaching Black. That's right, 6 of the gods had launched that great attack with the intention of ending Black's life once and for all. However, the powerful Black was stopping the great energy in an incredible way. Black at that moment was able to throw it to the sky where it exploded. At that moment, the 12 gods were launched against Black. Although their blows were not so powerful, they were able to do considerable damage by hitting in the same place for a few times.
Damn it, these bastards will finish me off. I can't do anything.
Meanwhile, with Goku, both were much more evenly matched. However, Goku in his mind would listen to his evil side, and his Kakarot would have been manifested.
Goku, it's me, the sadistic, cold, murderous, cruel part of your whole being. I can make you activate 100% of the state you're using.
Goku, while exchanging blows, was communicating with his inner part.
How would you be able to do this? And why would I trust you? You're me, and I'm you. If you die, I'll die too. So what we do is to go back and be a being of one like we were born. Okay, if it makes my power increase, I'll do it, because I have to help Black.
Understood, Son Goku. Energy vein adaptation completed. Union finalized. Ultra Final Instinct. Ultra Perfect Instinct activated.
Goku at that moment began to fill with energy and a brightness that could be observed to Goku, with white hair leaving Daishinken surprised, which had felt the increase of power in Son Goku.
This can't be happening. Son Goku's power had skyrocketed. He even activated the perfect Ultra Instinct. That's practically impossible for a mortal.
Goku at that moment would give a great blow to Daishinken, which would leave him on the ground badly wounded, and would quickly go to where Black was, ending the lives of some gods in one move.
I have to finish with the lives of 7 god destroyers. I guess you could do something about the other 5. Don't defraud me, Black.
Goku at that moment would quickly return to great speed, and with incredible precision would be able to give a beating to Daishinken, which this time was not able to do anything against the Saiyan that had exceeded its limits.
It seems that I have no choice but to invoke the demon god Demigra. If I don't do it, this bastard will kill everyone, including me.
Zeno-sama at that moment began to recite a very old ritual which only Daishinken understood.
Don't do it, Zeno-sama. This Saiyan doesn't kill us, the demon god will. You must bet everything. My friend Goku's not the same as before.
At that moment, a pentagram would form all over the kingdom out of nowhere. Nothing out of the ordinary is happening. That's right, the powerful Demigra, after millions of years, was just waking up. Goku, without giving it importance, would continue fighting with Daishinken. However, with only 3 minutes of the battle, Goku was about to give one of his final blows, just as Black was about to end the life of the god of Beerus. At that moment, both were dragged to the ground by a pressure which brought everyone to their knees.
What? Why can't you move me?
What's going on? Is this pressure even higher than the pressure of the king at all?
At that moment, everyone would be surprised to observe a strange being.
Gods and Supreme Angel Daishaken, we meet again after millions of years, but this time I'm here to help you, so don't worry.
Demigra would return to observe both subjects, and at that moment, lightning began to fall all over the place as Demigra was increasing his power a little. The power that the demon god was releasing was an incredible power that would astonish everyone.
Damn it, we're dead. The demon god hates divine beings. Millions of years ago, we were able to seal it, but the 6 supreme gods gave their lives to achieve it. Oh, apparently I have to eliminate a few ants. Don't worry, Daishaken, I can't attack the beings of the kingdom at all. In order for Zeno-sama to free me, we had to make a blood deal. Does the blood deal of a king of everything even exist? I was not aware that Zeno-sama has enough power to perform such a feat.
I don't care who the hell you are, but if you interfere with my revenge, I'll end your miserable life this very instant.
Simple mortal, measure your words before addressing your superiors. You don't want me to end your pathetic life in seconds.
Goku, having totally united with Kakarot, had a much colder personality, but in the same way, they made him angry much more easily. Goku at that moment would launch himself at a great speed against Demigra. However, Demigra had stopped his blow with only one hand, and with a strong kick he would send him flying all over the combat platform. Black, who was facing Beerus, would realize what had happened, leaving him out of combat quickly.
To kill you would have to be a mercy on you. First we'll make you suffer, but now we must finish with that dam. He has an incredible power.
Black at that moment at an incredible speed that even Daishaken would be difficult to follow, he launched himself at Demigra's attack. At that moment, he'd create an energy sword. However, when Black's sword touched Demigra's aura, it was destroyed into 1,000 pieces.
Is this a child's game? Do you really want to rule all the universes? The only thing we want is to finish with all the beings of the divine world.
Even so, it would have been impossible, since the power of Zeno-sama in his form of combat is comparable to mine, and if he has trained, he must surpass me. Black would be surprised since he didn't know that the king of all possessed a combat form. In that instant, thousands of thoughts passed quickly through his mind.
What the hell? Why didn't the other Zeno-sama use his combat mode?
Demigra at that moment, without letting Black recover from the astonishment, at a great speed would begin to give him a few blows. However, from one moment to another, Goku would rush to Black's aid. Demigra, with the simple power of his eyes, had left him paralyzed.
What do you think about the power of a demon god? This is my visual ability, Eye of Evil.
Goku at that moment, in spite of being with Ultra Instinct, was not able to dodge hundreds of blows that Demigra had attacked him with. At that moment, Goku and Black would both fall to the ground, very badly wounded. Meanwhile, in another multiverse, a beautiful goddess was watching everything that happened.
The little Zen has invoked one of the demon gods, but the power he possesses does not compare to what we have sealed. The power of those two subjects can serve us. We do value the beings of great power, but I'll observe a moment more.
Goku at that moment would stand up furious since no one had humiliated him in this way, while Black had returned to his base state and was in terrible condition.
I don't care if my body's destroyed by what I'm going to do, but I'll take it to the limit. Kaioken power! Enlarged 20 times!
Goku's power would explode in a few seconds, launching himself against Demigra. But in the same way, he was surprised to see how Demigra had dodged his blow, despite having increased his speed in an incredible way. Goku at that moment would begin to give a rain of blows to Demigra, which only dodged without any effort. However, at that moment, Demigra would begin to attack in the same way, being able to give a few hits to Son Goku, cutting all his ki. That's right, his hits that Demigra was giving to Son Goku were hits with demonic power, which was able to stop the flow of energy for approximately 25 minutes. Being enough time to finish with any warrior, Goku at that moment would fall to the ground and return to his base state. That's right, Goku had been completely defeated.
In spite of being sealed for millions of years, Demigra's power seems to have increased in an incredible way. By that time he didn't use his true power. That's all you could do. You're still mere mortals. Die! Demonic Celestial and Niquitator!
A crimson red sphere was approaching towards both warriors, who were unable to move a single finger.
Damn it! It seems that even after training with the king, we haven't been able to do anything against this guy.
At that moment, the whole place would freeze, as if someone had stopped time.
There is no time, but I ask you, do you want revenge? Come and join our multiverse. We'll take care of making you formidable warriors.
I don't want to die without making that damned god suffer. I accept. I don't want to be left behind, so I also accept.
I think this is perfect. Then at that moment of impact, we'll teleport, and so everyone will believe that they were reduced to simple atoms.
At that moment, everything would return to normal, and the great energy that had impacted, creating a great explosion all over that place. 2 seconds before the attack impacted both subjects, Cirrus had quickly teleported them to her realm.
Wow, my power has been so great that I didn't even leave a trace of those insects. Now that you're done with them, what do you plan to do?
Don't worry, priest. I won't do anything that has to do with destroying universes. I just want to be the most powerful demon in existence.
Demigra, you know what? If you start wrecking the 12 universes, I'll personally take care of you.
I know, Zeno-sama. It's not necessary to repeat it. Demigra, at that moment, there would be a portal which, through this one, could observe a place similar to the underworld. Demigra, at that moment, would disappear, leaving all the others speechless. At that moment, Daishinken would approach Zeno-sama.
My lord, what shall we do with all the angels and the 11 fallen gods? The Tournament of Power has been cancelled. Use the Super Dragon Spheres to bring everyone back to life. Angel, God, warrior, what has happened is maximum effort. What do you mean by maximum alert, my lord? Son Goku and the guy named Black have been defeated, and from what I could tell, Demigra seems to be afraid of their power. And they also are made the blood deal of a king of everything. The blood deal of a king of all can be annulled. If the being with whom I made it surpasses my power, and Demigra's power is not very far from mine.
Daishinken at that moment had been paralyzed, knowing that if Demigra passed his power of Zeno-sama, this time everyone would die, and there was nothing or no one was able to do to defeat him.
So your idea is to bring to life all the warriors, gods, and angels, to increase their power, and to be able to help in the battle against the demon god Demigra. That's right, Daishinken. The battle against Demigra will be the most destructive battle this multiverse has ever seen. Understand, my lord. At this very moment, I'll summon the Great Dragon.
Daishinken at that moment summons the Super Shenron.
Tell me what I can fulfill as a wish, whichever one you want. Bring back to life all the beings that died since Goku and Black appeared in the Tournament of Power. That's a complicated wish, because among them are both of Zeno-sama's guardians, who have incredible power. But I can do it.
At that moment, the dragon would raise the whole realm of nowhere, and the eyes would glow. That's right, at the instant, all the gods, angels, and guardians would come back to life.
Great Zeno-sama, we thank you for reviving us.
It seems to be all over, but why do I feel such a tense atmosphere?
Daishinken at that moment started to explain everything that had happened with Son Goku until the arrival of the demon god, who was able to defeat both of them.
And why does he have a worried look on his face, Daishinken-sama?
Because the demon gods are natural enemies of the divine beings. Just like us, the demon god is increasing his power in order to defeat us.
I understand what you are getting at, Father. You want all of us, our gods and warriors of each universe, to increase their power to be able to help in the battle against the demon god Demigra. Or am I wrong?
You're right, Whis. The power of the demon god Demigra, he made it clear to us that he's capable of wiping us out if he just thunders his fingers. So we must increase our powers.
Meanwhile, Vegeta and Frieza were the most furious because, despite having trained for so long and taken their bodies to the limit, Son Goku had defeated them without any difficulty, even humiliating them in the worst way possible.
Damn insect, I swear I'll overcome your power and even go to hell to finish you once and for all.
I can't believe that guy with the name Black was able to defeat me, the most powerful god. But Son Goku's power is still unmatched. If the god Demigra defeated him easily, that guy must be a monster.
Meanwhile, in the realm of Multiverse 2, Goku and Black were on the verge of death. At that moment, a great sphere of energy of the golden color began to heal them quickly. After only 3 minutes, they were both 100% healed.
Now that you're completely healed, I want you to explain to me why you want to finish with all the divine beings of the multiverse of Zeno-sama.
First of all, thank you very much for saving us. Now, of course, I'll explain to you.
Goku at that moment began to explain everything that had happened on planet Earth since he arrived, until the moment they faced Black and Zamatsu in the future. Sirius at that moment would be very thoughtful, knowing that both subjects had been betrayed, especially Goku, who had given his life for all his loved ones.
I understand. Then I will help you become much more powerful. But I have to inform you something. If you finish with the king of everything, Zeno-sama, one of you must be the new king of everything of Multiverse 4. Because if a king dies and nobody takes his place, a megaversal catastrophe can occur.
I understand, but of that, then there's no problem. Both of us be new kings of everything. We'll train the gods not to be scum, but they first must be punished severely.
In that case, let's start with the training beyond a king of the whole.
At that moment, a being of a Saiyan race appeared that would appear in front of them.
I'll be the warrior you'll face for the first 6 months. When you're able to defeat me, you'll be able to access the next level.
For a Saiyan, you're too weak. You didn't even raise a little bit of ki.
Goku and Black were again mortally wounded at the same moment, falling to the ground on the verge of death.
Don't look at my ki, since my power is in another dimension which you're still not able to reach.
Goku at that moment would access to Super Saiyan Blue, while Black to Super Saiyan Rose. However, at that moment, Goku would get out of control, expelling much more power. The body of Son Goku was releasing an incredible power, making everything around him tremble. So much would be his power that even the power Sirius would be interested in the Saiyan. At that moment, Shallot at an incredible speed would try to leave him out of combat, being in vain, since at that moment that his body made contact with the aura of Son Goku, he was seriously wounded. That moment, Black was incredibly surprised, and since he returned to his base state, Goku's body was releasing an incredible negative aura, and every being that touched that energy absorbed his powers. At the same moment, a gigantic Shinigami could be observed. That's right, this is a representation of the supreme power. All that power was entering Goku's body, which had accessed the Ultra Instinct. After a few moments, his hair would turn to a blood red color.
Kakarot! What the hell's wrong with you? Control yourself!
It's useless. The power that Son Goku's body's releasing exceeds anything we've ever seen so far, so it's impossible for him to come to his senses.
But Sirius's logic was totally wrong, because at that moment, a great laughter would resound throughout space.
Do you think I'm not able to control this power? I'm Kakarot, the evil version of Son Goku. But when we merge, we're able to share the body.
What do you mean by sharing the body? This can't be happening.
By keeping our consciousness separated for so many years, we were not able to merge 100%. The only thing we could do to use the same body and power is of our counterpart.
Then this is a terrible idea, because if a being as evil as you can use Son Goku's body, it will be chaos not only for Zeno-sama's multiverse, it'll be chaos for all of us.
You're wrong! Even though I'm a destroyer, I'm not capable of destroying the other beings. Something of Goku's uselessness still holds me back, but I'm capable of giving him much greater power and also absorbing all kinds of negative energy. That's why all my power's gone. That's right! With this power, I can absorb all the negative energy and make it part of me. With this form, I also take away his emotions. By this, I mean that he's not able to feel fear, empathy, or pain.
This is too much like the Ikari Forbidden Energy, which you need to dominate your inner self to be able to make two beings be able to share the same body. It seems to me something amazing.
But all must not be good news. Why did Goku lose control?
He's not lose control, but by using more power than his body can withstand, the body has left him totally out of combat. So I am who is not able to feel pain or fear. I can control the body and store much more power. I understand 75% of what you're telling us.
I have understood completely everything. In a few words, if one of you is completely on the verge of death, the other one could go out to the battlefield while the other one recovers. Or am I wrong?
It seems you're a real queen of everything. Your intellectual capacity is impressive. I am amazed.
I understand that there's no limit, but I have a doubt. Does the negative power have any limit, or is it unlimited?
I can withstand 100 times my current power. That means that for a being to make me explode, he must be able to end the life of a king completely just by thinking about it.
Then in a few words, it's impossible since there's no being with all that power.
But Sirius was very wrong, since in all the multiverses, or even beyond these, there were beings that did not need titles like gods, kings, or priests, but their power was so much that they were capable of ending the life of these without even making any effort.
So, what do you think if we start with the training?
Shallot, you train the Saiyan named Black. I will personally train this Saiyan. I want to see how much he's able to withstand the negative energy.
As you order, my lady. Black, I hope you're ready since there's no one to save you. Black at that moment would get into a battle pose, however he was not able to dodge the hundreds of blows that Shallot was giving him. Black was only able to dodge 2 or maximum 3 blows out of 100 that he received. Meanwhile, in the special planet, Sirius, without giving any warning, would throw a powerful blow to Goku, who with a little difficulty would move at a great speed, taking a little distance.
What the hell? His energy changed to a more aggressive one. It's similar to the negative energy, but I even feel that it's capable of absorbing me.
Let's see who's more powerful, your body with 2 beings living in it, or my body which has been able to master the forbidden Ikari power.
Goku would be very surprised to know that a woman had been able to get the power that even a king desires. Flashback when Goku and Black were training in the time room with Zeno-sama. In a moment, Goku would approach.
Zeno-sama, is there a power beyond a king of everything?
Well, the answer's a bit confusing since a king of everything is born with unlimited energy, and we don't have to train to increase our power.
But what's supposed to happen if the kings train?
Just to that point I want to get. If we kings have all trained, it's said that we're able to master a power called Ikari.
Ikari? What's that power?
Ikari is a power beyond the king of all. If they're able to defeat us, the Ikari power appears on our whole body, controlling it throughout the battle, and giving us a much greater power than we alone can access.
The Ikari power is incredible. I'd love to learn how to master it.
That's what the legends of the other kings of everything tell us, since to this day no king of everything's capable of using it. That must be a simple legend or fantasy tales, since it must not be possible for 2 personalities to exist in the same body. We don't know, but there will always be beings that'll surprise us.
And flashback.
So the words of that miserable dwarf were true after all. The Ikari power is a power that goes beyond the normal power of a king at all.
Sirius at that moment, like a true beast, would move at a great speed and would take one of Goku's legs, which he began to crash him through planets, mountains, and stars. Goku, in spite of wanting to absorb the power that Sirius emanated, was not able to do it. Goku, despite wanting to absorb that power, was not able to go so he was freeing himself from one moment to the next, and a little annoyed, they began to exchange blows, which they occurred in a less developed place like Zeno-sama's multiverse. Everything would explode. Meanwhile, with the battle of Shallot and Black, both were exchanging blows, but Black was in Super Saiyan Phase 4 Rose Furious, as Shallot was fighting with only one of his arms. However, the power was notorious as everything around him was destroyed. Shallot at that time would release much more power, pushing Black away.
That's all for today. You lack power, speed, and stamina. How is that possible that you have all that power? You're able to beat even Demigra.
Do you know Demigra's trash?
Trash? That damn demon god was able to finish this off without even trying.
He is the weakest demon god of the 6 supreme demons that exist. That statement would leave Black shocked to learn that there were 5 demon gods much more powerful than the one they faced.
Don't let that affect you. Their power's great. The demon gods have trained for millions of years to possess their current power. We've trained for thousands of years, but you have not been cultivating more than 100 years. You'll be great warriors. So in a million years, you've been able to reach that power. Well then, it's not so impressive after all, since in millions of years, we'll be much more powerful.
Exactly. I've only trained for 120,000 years, and I'm able to defeat even the 3rd demon god. The second most powerful demon gods do have an incredible power, but after training for millions of years, they're not that impressive.
I understand. They're not that impressive. The next time we see them, we'll finish them with our own hands.
Meanwhile, in Zeno-sama's multiverse, Daishoken was training in the realm of everything, as were all the gods, angels, and warriors of the 12 universes.
Damn, the resurgence of the god Demigra is something we didn't count on. Now that we don't have the help of the 6 supreme gods, I don't know if we'll be able to do anything.
Meanwhile, on the planet Dbs, everyone was training very hard, but the ones that stood out the most were Frieza, Vegeta, and the god Beerus himself.
Damn it! I won't let that wretch Black humiliate me again. I want to bring him back to life to finish him off. Mr. Beerus, currently we can't do that since we are on red alert, and the powerful god Demigra hasn't given any sign of life. That means he's planning something against the divine beings.
That damn demon god won't be able to face us, but the one that he leaves surprised is still Kakarot. How's he able to get all that power? How is he able to get out of that damn room?
Mr. Goku and Black were able to get out of that dimension because their power was so great they were able to totally eliminate the divine seal that you placed on him.
Frieza didn't say anything. He would only continue training since, even after so many years of training, he was quickly crushed by the Saiyan. Returning to the battle of Sirius and Goku, they had already spent approximately 15 hours of battle, which both were very wounded, but both would continue exchanging blows without giving up. Sirius, a little more upset, would use more power. However, his body was already feeling the side effects of using it for more than 12 hours of the Ikari. That is, his bones were breaking with every exchange of blows. While Goku, at every moment of the battle, seemed to get used more after a great exchange of blows, both subjects had taken a little distance.
How is it possible that you're in better shape than me if I had been the one who has given you the most blows? Have you forgotten what I've told you? In a few words, you're facing two beings. You're right. If I fought alone, I would not be able to move since your blows have an absurdly incredible power. What do you mean by all this? That's right. Goku, I have fully recovered, and every time you do serious damage, I'm able to heal myself thanks to the fact that Son Goku's already 100% grants me his regeneration. That's awesome.
Sirius at that moment would be out of combat for all the excess energy, and Black in the same way, but at the moment Goku would take control of his body, staying in the perfect Ultra Instinct. That's right, Goku had taken his base state.
Thank you very much, Kakarot and Sirius. With this battle, I've learned a lot about my power. I hope you're ready. Our revenge is not over yet.
Goku would go to a room in the Kingdom of Hole to leave Sirius, and while she was recovering, Goku would begin to increase his power because the more power he could support, the more power Kakarot would support. Goku would begin to meditate since he wished to dominate 100% of all his power. Meanwhile, with the training of Shallot together with Black, these had taken their training to a new level. Since in the castle of the Queen of All, Cyrus, there was a room which was very different from the Room of Time. Since in this place, the more the warrior has more power, the more pressure he'll exert, making the warrior, no matter how powerful he is, not be able to move freely. While the warrior has more power, the room will exert more pressure, making the warrior, no matter how powerful he is, not be able to move freely. Shallot and Black were training in that place for 34 hours, in which Black, after exchanging of blows, in which he was not able to defeat Shallot, would fall to the ground badly wounded.
Damn it! We're in equal conditions, and in spite of that, you're able to defeat me. You don't have to worry about that. You have an incredible power being such a young Chaosian. How do you know? We're beings that have trained for many more years than you, and it's easy to identify that this body does not belong to you. For that reason, you're not able to release 100% of its capacity. Unlike the Saiyan Goku that I can use it to its maximum power. I understand, but it's all a matter of time, since we're all capable of getting used to someone or something. You're right, but combining your cells with the Saiyan body will be extremely complicated, but not impossible. That's what I'm here for. Is it possible to combine it 100%? Of course it is. For that very reason, we'll train in this place to take advantage of the time and the pressure it exerts. The pressure will make your ki veins emanate much more power to relax the body a little. And the more it happens, the more the ki and veins will consider your spirit and body as one. Then we shouldn't waste time. Let's keep training. Those are the words I like to hear.
But in the same way, it's also indispensable to rest so that your body is affected by a big load. Meanwhile, in the multiverse of Zeno-sama, approximately 4 months had already passed. That's right, the time in each multiverse passed in a different way. At that moment, Daishinken would approach the King of Everything. My lord, it's been 4 months since we have no information from Demigra. We don't know in which universe he is or what he's doing. This is worrying. Demigra has always been known for destroying everything in his path. That it doesn't mean leaves me with hundreds of thoughts. Meanwhile, in Universe 7, all the warriors had already increased their powers in an incredible way, having too much confidence in defeating Son Goku. Whis-sama, I beg you, please take me to the hell of the other world to finish with that damn Kakarot. He doesn't want me to exist in hell. I want to eliminate him completely.
Mr. Vegeta, I don't think it's a coherent idea. We can't interfere in that other divine plane.
Whis, all of us will go. I also want Son Goku to cease to exist. Those damn mortals dared to humiliate the entire Universe 7.
This time I will finish off both monkeys. I'll pay them back for everything they did to me.
Whis, along with all the other warriors, were heading quickly to the hell of the other world, and being an angel could access quickly. At the time of arrival, Whis would start looking for Son Goku and Black, failing completely. The expression of Whis at that moment would change to a very serious one.
What's wrong, Whis? It looks like you've seen the same demon.
Mr. Beerus, the son of Son Goku and the guy named Black are not in this world, and I have also searched in Paradise and there's no trace of both guys.
Damn. Means that damn demon must have eliminated them with a destructive attack to destroy their souls.
Those ignorant monkeys have been spared the beating of their lives. No, that can't be happening. The demon god Demigra didn't use destructive energy. The only option left is...
That's impossible, Whis. They couldn't have stayed alive. The power of that attack was supreme. Not even the king would have been able to survive it.
We must quickly inform the high priest and the king of all Zeno-sama.
At that moment, Whis tried to get out of hell. A strong barrier would not allow him to do it. What's wrong, Whis? We must inform the king of everything as soon as possible.
It wasn't me, Mr. Beerus. An extremely powerful barrier won't let me pass.
At that moment, all hell would begin to tremble and a pressure would fall on everyone present, not letting even one finger move.
What is an angel and a god supposed to do in this world? You don't know it's against the rules?
But you're a Saiyan who's opposed the destruction of the Vegeta planet to the very end.
Wow, this is a surprise. Frieza is in this place with you.
I don't know who the hell you are, but for this disrespect to a god, I'll annihilate you.
Bardock would move at an impressive speed, putting himself in front of Beerus.
Are you talking to my pathetic god? Don't you know who I am?
Beerus at that moment recognized the kinship that this Saiyan had with Son Goku.
Are you Son Goku's father?
So you know my son Kakarot. But that's not the point. Thanks to Frieza's insect, he destroyed the planet Vegeta. I've traveled millions of years into the past.
Flashback, at the moment that Frieza destroyed the planet Vegeta, a portal would absorb planet Bardock, which would begin with new adventures. However, had fallen to another multiverse. That's right, Bardock had been received to the multiverse of the goddess Nin. Nin was very surprised to see such a muscular guy despite not having divine power. Nin decided to train him personally. That's right, Bardock was the first Saiyan to be trained by a queen at all. Bardock's power to reach a Saiyan would grow immeasurably, being able to reach all the divine transformations, even reaching the Ultra Instinct. But Bardock was able to take his transformation beyond all its limits, reaching a demonic transformation ending with a demon god in his world. Bardock, at the time of finishing with the demon god, his whole body was wrapped in incredible negative energy. But to Bardock's surprise, he was able to dominate all that energy, obtaining his most powerful transformation called the Demonic Super Saiyan, which made all Bardock's hair a blood red color. Bardock, knowing that he didn't belong to that timeline, decided to return for a while, being the protector of all the dead, and the being that wreaked havoc in hell were annihilated by Bardock. End of flashback. Beerus would be surprised by the history of Bardock, however Frieza would be furious, would not mind, launching the attack. In his powerful transformation, Bardock would play along. starting to have a battle, something even with the Demon of Cold. However, after only 5 minutes of battle, Frieza was extremely tired. At that time, Bardock, a big blow would send him to the ground, making him lose his transformation. Vegeta was going to launch the attack, being stopped quickly by Whis.
No, Mr. Vegeta. The power of that Saiyan is even more powerful than the power of Mr. Goku. Even more powerful than that demon god Demigra.
Demigra? Did they fight the weakest demon of all?
Beerus and Whis were astonished to learn that the demon god was the weakest of them all.
For that reason, you have a pathetic battle level. You've not had any confrontation with beings that overwhelm you in power. It'll not give me any satisfaction to finish you off, so get out of here.
Whis would take Frieza, leaving Hell. While they were leaving, Beerus would tremble with fear to know that this could be the end of him.
This has been very dangerous. The power of that being was able to finish us without being able to do anything. That's different from a real powerful one.
No matter how many millennia have to pass, we must finish with all of Son Goku's family. They are extremely dangerous.
Back to Shallot and Black's training, both were having a very even battle. That's right, in that time, Black had been able to combine 94% of all his cells with the same body.
You're just short of reaching the same evolution as Son Goku.
Meanwhile, with Goku, he was having a fight with Cirrus. However, Son Goku's power had already left behind, since even Cirrus was using the Ikari and was not able to hit him with an effective blow. Goku was the only one who hit him the whole battle. At the end of the fight, Cirrus seriously said to herself,
"This warrior is incredible. Thanks to him, I was able to realize that even prodigies like me can be overcome if you have persistence."
Cirrus, I think it's time to finish with that damn Zeno-sama. I can't stand knowing that those wretches tried to finish us off.
All right, but you know that you must be the new kings of everything.
Of course, Cirrus. You don't have to worry about that. Black and I'll take care of it.
Goku, at the moment of going to Black's room, Kakarot would take the control of the body, turning into a lightning bolt, moving away from that place quickly. In that same instant, a powerful explosion was able to be observed in all that place.
Hell, if I hadn't reached quickly, that attack could have gotten us badly injured. I thank you, Black. You're being much more powerful to have control of the body. If necessary, use my power, because the guy who attacked us releases an incredible power.
At that moment, Kakarot was able to observe Cirrus, who was very wounded and on the verge of death. Kakarot Furious would return with Cirrus, creating an energy field, which would protect her, and at the same time would give her energy.
I don't know who you are, but show yourself! I'll finish you. I'll not forgive you for attacking us treacherously.
Very arrogant words, but that doesn't have great power. You're a simple worm compared to my true power. At that moment, a strong aura of fire would be seen all over the place. Kimura, turned into flames, was able to hit Goku with a strong blow, sending him flying. I thought you'd be able to withstand that blow, but I can see that you're nothing more than a mere mortal. No matter how much you train, there'll always be a limit to what you can do. Goku, in that furious moment, would begin to increase his power, accessing his Omni-God transformation, leaving Kimura a little surprised. Goku's power could be felt even in the room where Black and Shallot were training.
Kakarot's power's not normal. This is not the training. His body releases much more power than his own body can withstand.
Shallot would begin to tremble at the moment he looked at Kimura, which Black would be able to notice.
I don't know who he is, but he's even capable of making my master tremble with his mere presence.
At that moment, an extremely impressive battle would begin, which Goku was losing in a few exchanges of the blows. The power of that guy was incredible. At that moment, the heart of Black began to ladder with a much greater force. That's right, Black had dominated the power of Son Goku to 99%, being able to release much more power. Black at that moment began to expel an extremely powerful, destroying everything around him, making the whole kingdom tremble all over. Black was increasing his power in an equally amazing way, leaving everyone surprised by the power that Black was unleashing. At that moment, a big explosion would be created all over the place, even managing to shake other multiverses, which did not understand what was happening. In the same transformation as Kakarot. That's right, Black had been able to access the Omni state and had combined 100% of all his Saiyan cells.
So,
Black sensed the danger and was able to combine all his cells with those of Kakarot's body. This power is incredible, and I can't believe all the power that my body has. With this power, we'll be able to face this guy. Black is correct that your power in this transformation exceeds my power by dozens of times, but you shouldn't trust. Kimura is one of the most powerful demon gods.
At that moment, after an exchange of blows, Kakarot would fall to the ground a little injured.
Are you wrong, Charlotte? Now I'm the most powerful demon god, since I even absorbed all the other demons, keeping their powers and abilities.
Charlotte at that moment would be very astonished by Kimura's statement, since what Kimura had done was considered impossible.
No matter how many years of power you've absorbed against us, that won't be enough for you. We have a revenge that we haven't yet realized.
Black at that moment would pounce against Kimura. That's right, Black and Kimura began to exchange blows at an amazing speed, being able to even make all the multiverses tremble. However, the multiverse of Zeno-sama didn't understand what was happening because they weren't able to feel their power, only the annihilation and pressure that emanated.
What the hell's going on? Are two kings of everything fighting? I don't know, my lord, but the power that's felt is incredible, and even I'm not able to comprehend it. I'm sure that it surpasses the power of Demigra.
Meanwhile in Hell, even Bardock had felt all the power emanating from it.
That's the power of Kimura, but apparently it's absorbed the power of all the other demons since I feel the essence of each one of them. This'll be interesting. Bad luck that I cannot intervene in the world of the living.
Bardock would continue observing the battle from a sphere of energy, returning. Kakarot at that moment had recovered, and in the same way he threw himself against Kimura, who was being cornered, as both had a great power. While they were fighting, Charlotte would approach towards quickly the king of all Cirrus, holding her quickly and leaving the place so she could recover. At the moment of reaching a safe place, Kimura would take out a very beautiful bottle.
My lady, drink the sacred water. This will make you recover quickly.
No, Charlotte. The sacred water is like a life. Leave it for Kakarot or Black.
Cirrus, drink it, and don't worry about us.
Cirrus at that moment would begin to drink all the water at that moment and had recovered all his powers. However, he didn't have the required level to help with this battle, which was out of his hands. The only thing that they could do was wait and pray that both Saiyans would win this great battle. At that moment, Kakarot and Black had created two powerful divine dragons which were approaching towards Kimura, who would be completely reached.
Kakarot, that was an excellent energy control. You've regulated it marvelously so that it only tears the body of the damned one and does not cause havoc in the universe.
Of course, Kakarot. I control your battle power much better. Being much colder, I don't plan to give them another chance. This power has been able to kill that wretch.
However, at that precise moment, Kimura's voice would resound throughout the place, leaving everyone else surprised.
Damn you! You are about to end my life. If it hadn't been for me absorbing the power of the other demons, this would have been the end of me.
Kimura at that moment began to access the power of all the other demons. That's right, Kimura had only been using his power. The power that Kimura released this time was catastrophic, because now several planets of other multiverses were destroyed only to increase his power. Meanwhile, in the Universe 7, all were training very hard since Bardock, the father of Kakarot, had turned out to be much more powerful than a demon god. But even to that place had reached the power of Kimura, which would shake everyone, and a pressure would fall on all those present.
What's happening? Who is this great power?
I don't know, Mr. Beerus, but it seems that he's in another universe and yet still is able to reach this place.
Damn, I can't breathe normally. His power's crushing me.
But at that moment, the astonishment of everyone grew as he observed in all the universes the face of an Ozaru, which would make a loud roar, making all the disasters in all the universes, and a voice would resonate through the multiverses.
I am the fusion of Kakarot and Black. I'm the one in charge of ending your abomination.
Beerus and Whis had been the most astonished when they realized that Goku and Black had not really died.
The power of those vermin had reached to a level, and I can't believe it.
Damn it! Once again humiliated by the power of some simple monkeys. I want to finish them all once and for all. I hate you, Goku!
Even the Kingdom of Everything, Daishank and Zeno-sama and his guardians were very astonished. The power they felt, even their astonishment grew even more when they knew whose powers they had.
The power of those two Saiyans had reached such a level. This cannot be true. Their power is even capable of defeating a king without any difficulty. We must prepare ourselves, because if they have all that power now, if they win this battle, they'll become much more powerful.
Returned to the battlefield while Kimura raised all his power, Kakarot and Black had merged, knowing that otherwise they would not stand a chance. At that moment, both warriors would stare at each other.
No matter what you do, the result will be the same. So you better prepare yourself to die, simple insects.
My name doesn't matter now. Just know that I'm the one in charge of finishing you, and I hope you're prepared, you damned insect.
At that moment, both began to fight at an extremely amazing speed. Energy blasts, blows, kicks. Both were hitting each other with their maximum powers.
Divine Demolisher! Scythe of Death!
Kimura's powerful Divine Demolisher was cut in two by a gigantic Scythe of Fusion, which without wasting time would quickly throw itself against Kimura, starting again to massacre him with blows. However, Kimura was not left behind since, while the fusion hit him, Kimura was injecting negative energy in the whole spiritual sea of fusion to make it explode from the inside. At the moment, the fusion would grant him a blow so brutal that it would make him fall to the ground without any defense.
You're powerful. Even I, who absorbed all the demon gods, recognize that only two beings have surpassed our power. But we have much more experience. Demonic explosion!
At that moment, a great explosion was about to be formed inside Kakarot's body, but Black had much more evil heart that would neutralize it without any difficulty. And at that moment, death could be observed from the aura of the fusion. That's right, the power was so great that even his aura was materialized.
Kimura, today's the day to end you. No matter what you do, you don't stand a chance.
Kimura would be surprised to realize that his attack had no effort. At that moment, Kimura would be invaded by an astonishing terror, not knowing who the guy in front of him.
I know you must have too many questions at the moment, but the only thing you should know is that I'm the God of Death Saiyan. And today, I'll take your negative energy.
Kimura at that moment would begin to fly through all the multiverses with the intention of saving his life, since he knew that the being that he had in front of him was capable of annihilating him.
Spirits of death, devour him and give me his power.
At that moment, hundreds of shadows rushed towards Kimura, who was at an amazing distance. But this had not been enough, since the spirits of death managed to reach him and begin to devour every essence of his negative power, leaving nothing but simple bones of the most powerful demon god known so far. Shell and Cirrus were very surprised by the power of the fusion possessed.
Are you really still my Goku?
Of course I am, Cirrus. I just needed all this power to finish with that dam, because his power surpassed ours, but I was able to defeat him.
At that moment, the fusion would end, returning Kakarot and Black to normality.
Goku, I sedate you the control of the body. I'm no good with communication with beings that are extremely weak.
Goku at that moment would take full control of the body, explaining to him from where they had released all that power. However, at that moment, Black's voice would bring them all out of their thoughts.
Kakarot, the day has come in which our revenge will end. There's no being that compares to our powers, and we will be the new kings of the whole multiverse of Zeno-sama. On this occasion, I agree with Black, since I can't advance if I keep thinking about the day that my family betrayed me. I want to erase them from this universe.
That's good, since you shouldn't have a grudge in your heart, and I totally agree, but I would recommend you to recover your energy first.
Cirrus is right this time, but Black, get ready, because there are 3 days we're going to annihilate with the God of Universe 7, all the Z Warriors, and all the divine beings of the realm of everything, so we can become the new rulers. I think that's great, Goku. I thought you'd never say that.
Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of Everything, everyone was very worried, because they knew that they had no chance against those powers that were felt. Even in the planet of Beerus, everyone was terrified, and even with impotence.
No matter how long we train, we won't be able to do anything against Goku. Damn, I regret betraying him. He'll finish each one of us off.
I don't care. If I die this time, I'll die with him. I won't go to the other world alone.
So the 3 days had passed quickly, in which Goku and Black were ready for the total annihilation of all these beings.
I wish you a lot of luck, and don't humiliate them so much, although I know you will.
At that moment, both began to move throughout the multiverses until they managed to cross the megaversal barrier. At the moment of doing so, they would increase their power a little, creating havoc throughout all the universes. However, no divine being appeared.
Apparently, these damned ones are so afraid they're not able to show their faces. It doesn't matter if they hide or travel to different timelines. We'll annihilate them.
Goku and Black would arrive at the realm of the whole, observing all the gods and the most powerful warriors of the universes, angels, and the entire divine world.
Even though they have great power, we don't intend to let ourselves be destroyed so easily.
Black at that moment would give a big smile and ascend to the Super Saiyan Rose. Without anyone noticing, he had finished with the lives of all the gods except for Beerus, while Goku and Ultra Instinct had finished with the life of every guardian angel.
Today, we'll torture them until they get tired of it.
Black at that moment began to fight against the entire Universe 7, giving them a beating, finishing with each of them without mercy. But Black used destructive energy so that they do not go to paradise or hell, they disappear completely.
Zeno-sama, I thought we were true friends, but now I have to finish you off.
Zeno-sama at that moment would begin to access his combat form, and after a great light without giving words, he would throw himself against Goku. But to everyone's surprise, Goku without any mercy had pierced him with a blow, ending the life of Zeno-sama.
That's it. They don't have enough power to face us.
Goku in the blink of an eye had finished with each being of the divine world and would finish in the same way, eliminating his soul with the Hakai. At the moment of finishing with each one of the beings, Goku and Black would reunite the Super Dragon Ball, invoking the great god Zalma.
What is your wish?
I want you to bring all the gods and angels of the universe to life.
It is a very easy wish to fulfill, but it is impossible for me to resurrect the god Beerus. His existence was completely erased.
Don't worry. Bring all 11 gods and 12 angels back to life.
By the time they all appeared, Goku and Black had reported that Topo of Universe 11 would be the new god of destruction of Universe 7, and so Goku and Black had become the new kings of the whole of their multiverse.
At last we can rest in peace. Alas, those wretches have gone through what they did to us. At last, those insects got what they deserved.
At the precise moment that both Saiyan warriors, the shadow creatures, collided their attacks, the explosion resulting from the collision of the attacks left a crater on the battlefield, while a dense smoke obscured the view. Amidst the haze, Goku with a serious but confident expression, and Vegeta, also with a confident expression of having destroyed the shadow creatures with his attacks, stood on guard, ready to face whatever emerged from this smoke. Suddenly, as soon as the smoke dissipated from the battlefield, the shadowy creatures emerged unharmed, floating in the air with an even more intense presence. Their forms twisted, revealing an even darker and more powerful transformation. Now with eyes glowing with a more intense light, the shadow creatures uttered a great malevolent laugh and moved towards Goku and Vegeta with renowned ferocity. The sky was covered with dark clouds and lightning intermittently illuminated the scene. The creatures, once scattered, began to converge into a chaotic mass. Their bodies intertwined and merged, creating a monstrous entity that emanated a dark and malevolent aura. The fusion of the creatures was completed with a loud roar, and before Goku and Vegeta emerged, a nightmarish creature. The fused creature had a grotesque figure, with twisted limbs and glowing eyes filled with evil. Its body was enveloped in a halo of dark energy, which distorted the space around it. The ground shook with every step he took, and the waves of evil energy generated chaos on the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta exchanged determined glances. They knew they faced an unprecedented threat. The fusion of the creatures had given rise to a being of incredible power and speed.
Goku frowned, clenching his fists, while Vegeta gave a cocky grin. Kakarot, looks like things have become interesting. I didn't expect to have to face something like this.
Yes, Vegeta, this creature's no joke. We're gonna have to give it our all.
Both warriors raised their ki to the maximum, surrounding themselves with an intense golden and blue aura. Their hair stood on end and the earth trembled under the pressure of their combined power. The fused creature responded with a guttural laugh and advanced towards them with great strides.
Come on, Vegeta, let's attack together and put an end to this.
For once, Kakarot, I agree.
The battle reached its climax as Goku and Vegeta, enveloped in their golden and blue auras, launched themselves towards the fused creature. Every punch and burst of energy echoed through the air, creating a spectacle of flashes and booms. The creature, however, was not easy to defeat. Its agility and strength were astounding, dodging the Saiyan's attacks with ease.
Vegeta, we need to find an opening in its defense. Focus!
I know, Kakarot, but this thing's fast.
The fused creature responded with a ripping attack, sending the Saiyans flying across the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta, however, quickly recovered and stood up with renewed determination.
We can't underestimate this thing. Come on, Vegeta, let's attack together.
All right, Kakarot, together we'll defeat it.
Goku nodded and they concentrated their energies into an amazing combined attack. A brilliant flash of light and blue light materialized in their hands, growing with each second. The fused creature, seeing the imminent threat, tried to counterattack, but it was too late.
Kame! Final Flash!
The powerful beam of combined energy shot towards the fused creature, illuminating the dark battle with its radiance. However, just when impact seemed inevitable, the creature, in the last act of desperation, deployed a dark shield that managed to resist the Saiyan's assault. The result explosion sent Goku and Vegeta flying backwards, returning them to their base form, leaving them dazed and severely injured on the ground. The fused creature, though weakened, struggled to its feet, its malevolent aura flickering, but far from fading completely.
Vegeta, we're in trouble. This thing's stronger than we thought.
Vegeta, however, lay motionless on the ground with visible wounds and his aura rapidly diminishing.
Vegeta! Don't give up, Vegeta!
The fused creature, slowly recovering, calmly approached towards Vegeta with a palpable malevolence in its glowing eyes.
Your efforts are futile. I'm the amalgam of darkness itself. This is the end of you, Saiyan Prince.
Goku, full of rage and despair, stood up and threw himself towards the creature with what was left of his strength. However, the creature, with a simple wave of its hand, unleashed a wave of dark energy that enveloped Kakarot and threw him violently to the ground.
Vegeta, we need a plan.
The fused creature approached Vegeta, lifting him off the ground with one hand. The Saiyan Prince, barely conscious, opened his eyes to meet the cold, merciless gaze of his energy.
Kakarot, do whatever it takes.
The fused creature, with a contemptuous gesture, threw Vegeta back to the ground, leaving him on the verge of death. The battle, which had begun with hope, now became bleaker than ever. With his partner down and his own strength waning, Kakarot faced a strength that seemed insurmountable. Goku, sensing the desperation of the situation, recalled the hermit seeds he carried with him. The moment the fused creature came speeding towards him, Goku managed to dodge the blow swiftly, approached Vegeta and handed him one of the valuable seeds.
Vegeta, eat this! It'll give you the energy to keep fighting!
At the same time, Goku also consumed one of the seeds. Vegeta, barely conscious, accepted the seed and consumed it urgently. The hermit seed acted quickly, healing Vegeta's wounds and restoring his life energy. Flashes of golden light surrounded the Saiyan Prince as he stood up, his eyes regaining determination.
Kakarot, don't underestimate me. I can keep fighting.
Fine, Vegeta, but we need something else to defeat this creature. Do you remember the fusion technique?
Vegeta frowned but nodded in understanding. Both Saiyans positioned themselves in front of the fused creature, focusing their energies.
Vegeta, let's do it! Let's merge!
I don't think it'll come to this, Kakarot, but I have no choice.
Both warriors stood side by side, raising their hands into the front and began to concentrate their energies. The atmosphere was filled with a brilliant glow as the two Saiyans merged into a single entity. The resulting figure was a perfect combination of Goku and Vegeta with a powerful golden aura enveloping their fused bodies. This fusion creature showed signs of unease as it witnessed the transformation. The new Saiyan entity turned to it with a determined look. The fusion between Goku and Vegeta, known as Gogeta, and his Super Saiyan form was now evident. Gogeta, with the combined voice of Goku and Vegeta, said, "Prepare for defeat. We're the fusion of the Saiyans, and there's nothing we cannot overcome." With a unified shout, the Saiyan fusion lunged towards the fused creature with incredible speed and power. The battle between the Saiyan fusion and the fused creature erupted into a frenzy of power and skill. Every move, every blow, every burst of energy shook the battlefield. The earth trembled under the intensity of the confrontation, and the sky lit up with the sparks of energy released during the fight. Gogeta, with the combination of Goku's cunning and Vegeta's determination, proved to be an unstoppable force. However, the fused creature did not yield easily, showing a resilience that defied expectations. Both contenders were at a stalemate, each pushing their limits to the max. Goku and Vegeta, in their fused form, began to feel the need to unleash more power to overcome their more formidable foe. In a moment of perfect synchronization, both Saiyans raised their ki to the limit, and the atmosphere itself began to be distorted with the built-up pressure.
It's time to take this to the next level!
In a dazzling flash, the Saiyan fusion underwent an astonishing metamorphosis. His once golden hair now turned sapphire blue, and his aura took on a heavenly hue. The transformation to Super Saiyan Blue had taken place. The fused creature recoiled momentarily as it witnessed the new form. Shocked by the magnitude of the power unleashed, however, the Saiyan fusion showed no mercy and lunged towards with dizzying speed.
Prepare for true Saiyan strength!
The attacks and counterattacks reached a speed that defied perception. The fused creature, despite its previous endurance, was outmatched by the speed and aggressiveness of the Saiyan fusion in its Super Saiyan Blue form. The battle had not yet come to an end. In a final attempt to resist, the fused creature unleashed its own dark power, enveloping the Saiyan fusion in a spiral of chaotic energy. Gogeta, in response, concentrated his energy to the maximum in an act of rage.
Let's go farther!
The energy surrounding the Saiyan fusion intensified and exploded in a dazzling burst. The bright blue aura became more intense, and the power of the Saiyan fusion increased to unimaginable levels. The sky lit up with glows and waves of energy as the fused creature faced Gogeta's unstoppable strength. However, in an unexpected twist, the creature began to build up a dark and sinister energy, revealing a hidden power.
Your resistance is impressive, Saiyans, but you have not seen my true potential.
The fused creature transformed, its fusion distorting further. A black aura filled with malevolence surrounded its body as its eyes glowed with terrifying intensity.
What the hell is it doing?
The fused creature, now imbued with a new dark power, lunged at Gogeta with surprising speed. Despite Gogeta's formidable strength in his Super Saiyan Blue form, the fused creature seemed to be able to anticipate even more.
Now you'll experience true darkness.
Gogeta sensed the threat, deciding to take his own power to the extreme. In a blink of an eye, he activated the technique, the Kaioken. His blue aura multiplied into a mixture of blue and red, and the intensity of the battle reached levels never seen before.
It's time to put an end to this! Kaioken!
Gogeta's speed and strength multiplied exponentially, and the fused creature was momentarily caught off guard. However, the creature counterattacked with a blast of dark energy that enveloped Gogeta, but he struggled to resist. Gogeta, in his Kaioken state, felt the need to raise his power even higher. Thus his ki increased, causing the earth to tremble from such immense power, destroying mountains and lifting rocks into the skies. At that precise moment, he disappeared from the sight of the fused creature, appearing from behind and creating a glowing bluish sphere of energy that materialized between his hands.
Final Kamehameha!
The energy sphere impacted against the fused creature with unparalleled force. The resulting explosion lit up the sky, dispersed the creature's dark energy. However, when the light faded, the fused creature emerged once again, albeit visibly weakened.
Do not underestimate my power, Saiyans. I have attained a form beyond your comprehension.
Gogeta, sensing the gravity of the situation, prepared for the next confrontation. The battle, far from over, was entering even more dangerous terrain, with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance in this fierce struggle between light and darkness. The battlefield was plunged into utter chaos, with destructive shockwaves reverberating throughout the space. Gogeta, with his combined aura of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken, was moving at speeds that defied perception. The fused creature, despite his new enhanced form, was momentarily outmatched by the Saiyan warrior's speed.
Darkness cannot defeat light. It's time to seal your fate.
Though weakened, the fused creature did not give up. With impressive speed, it lunged towards Gogeta, unleashing a series of dark attacks that even defied the Kaioken's speed.
Your light is but a fleeting glimmer. In the eternity of darkness, you will suffer.
Gogeta, with sharp reflexes at precise moments, will dodge the fused creature's attacks. The battle reached an even greater frenzy, with a clash of fists and kicks creating waves of energy that swept the surrounding landscape. The once dark and stormy sky were illuminated by the flashes on the contest. In the beginning of the moment of opportunity, Gogeta channeled the Kaioken to an even higher level. His aura became more intense, mixing blue with red in a dazzling display. Seeing the new burst of power, the fused creature recoiled momentarily, a moment Gogeta took advantage of to gather energy.
This is the limit of your darkness. Prepare for the end.
Gogeta, with unmatched speed, appeared in front of the fused creature, concentrating his energy to a single point. A glowing sphere of energy formed between his hands, but this time, the sphere was not blue, it was a mixture of colors. A fusion of the power of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken.
Kaioken 20 times! Final Kamehameha!
The now larger, more powerful energy sphere hurled with impressive speed towards the fused creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the entire horizon, causing the mountains and valleys to be enveloped in a dazzling glow. When the light faded, the fused creature lay defeated on the ground. Its dark aura completely dissipated. Gogeta, with his Super Saiyan Blue form and Kaioken still activated, watched cautiously. The intense battle had come to an end, but the price of the confrontation was reflected in the devastated Earth and the wear and tear visible on the Saiyan warrior.
I hope that was enough. This universe can't take any more of this destruction.
With a flash, Gogeta deactivated the Kaioken and returned to his base form. As silence descended over the battlefield, the lingering question was whether the threat had truly been eliminated or if there was still challenges to be faced in the vast cosmos. Goku and Vegeta, feeling that the threat had been neutralized for the moment, separated from the Saiyan fusion. The intensity of the battle had left both Saiyans exhausted, but their attention was diverted to a disturbing reality. In the corner of their vision, they watched as a small dark creature made its way towards where Gohan and Broly were standing.
Vegeta, something's happening! We must get there fast!
Those two are in trouble if that thing gets to them. Let's go, Goku.
Both Saiyans, despite their exhaustion, dashed towards Gohan and Broly's location with as much speed as possible. As they approached, they could see the dark creature getting closer and closer to the two warriors. Gohan, who was training with Broly in an attempt to increase his skills, noticed Goku and Vegeta's arrival urgently.
Dad! Vegeta! Something's coming!
Broly, with his piercing gaze, had also sensed the approaching threat.
Evil creature, we will fight.
The small dark creature, noticing the presence of the Saiyans, stopped advancing and displayed a malevolent laugh.
Ha ha ha! Your victory was short-lived. This is only the first of many surprises.
Before they could react, the dark creature split into multiple smaller shadows, surrounding Gohan and Broly with astonishing speed.
Watch out, Broly! They're fast and dangerous!
We will fight. We won't let them defeat us.
Goku and Vegeta, arriving just in time, joined the battle. The battle became a chaotic dance of blows and explosions as the Saiyans fought the dark shadows that multiplied endlessly.
Let's finish this quickly. Gohan, Broly, stay strong.
Got it, Vegeta!
Broly, unleashing his titanic power, emitted a wave of energy that temporarily dispersed the dark shadows. However, the dark creature, in a final act of desperation, merged back into a larger, more powerful form.
My shadows cannot be so easily defeated. The real battle has just begun.
The shadow creature, now strengthened and more menacing than ever, faced the four Saiyan warriors with palpable malevolence. Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta moved into battle stance, facing the shadow creature with determination.
Come on, guys, let's work together and put an end to this menace once and for all.
Broly growled in agreement, his power emanating from him with an imposing force. Goku and Vegeta, despite their earlier exhaustion, raised their energies ready for the battle ahead. The shadow creature, with a sinister laugh, lunged towards them with surprising speed. The Saiyans responded with a coordinated assault, launching energy blasts and performing combo attacks. However, the shadow creature was agile and dodged their attacks with ease.
We can't let this thing get away. Concentrate on attacking together.
You're right, Vegeta. If we fight them as a team, we can overcome anything.
The four Saiyans synchronized their movements, attacking in harmony. Broly unloaded titanic blows. Gohan used his agility and advanced techniques, while Goku and Vegeta coordinated their energies to create a combined assault. Despite their efforts, the shadow creature proved to be resilient and adaptable. It defended with cunning and counterattacked with fury. In a moment of tension, the shadow creature unleashed a dark glow that enveloped its form, transforming to an even more powerful and monstrous version.
It's getting stronger again!
It doesn't matter. I'll destroy it.
The battle intensified as the shadow creature in its enhanced form launched waves of dark energy and unleashed more devastating attacks. The Saiyans, however, did not back down. Despite the gravity of the situation, their determination burned stronger than ever.
There's no limit to our strength when we fight together. Come on, guys, we can't lose.
This thing doesn't know who it's messing with. Get ready for what's coming.
Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta channeled their energies to the maximum, shaking the earth under the intensity of their combined power. In a unified act, the four Saiyans raised their ki to the limit and lunged towards the shadow creature with indomitable resolve. The shadow creature, now in its strengthened form, unleashed a dark energy that enveloped Broly, possessing the mighty Saiyan with a malevolent influence. Broly, his eyes now awash with shadows, stood before the other Saiyans with a menacing presence.
Broly, I won't let you be used as a puppet. We must save him. We won't let this thing manipulate Broly. Come on, guys, let's protect ourselves and save our friend.
This is getting more complicated than I thought. But no matter, we won't let the darkness win.
The battle began with the shadow creature using Broly's immense power against them. The controlled Saiyans' attacks were fierce, with waves of energy and bursts of ki that challenged even the most experienced warriors. The Saiyans dodged and counterattacked, but the shadow creature took advantage of Broly's brute strength to counter his moves.
We must weaken it enough to free Broly! Dad, Vegeta, let's follow the plan and attack in unison!
The three Saiyans coordinated, launching a series of swift and powerful attacks. However, the shadow creature moved with agility, dodging most of the blows and countering with blows of its own. Broly, under the influence of the dark possession, was showing superhuman endurance.
It's not enough! Broly, fight against this influence!
We must force him to break free. We're gonna give it our all.
In a moment of desperation, the Saiyans decided to raise their powers to the maximum. Goku transformed into Super Saiyan second stage, Gohan advanced his mystical form, and Vegeta unleashed his own power into Super Saiyan second stage. The three Saiyans surrounded Broly, launching a combination of flurry of powerful attacks.
Broly, resist! Don't let their darkness consume you!
The shadow creature, feeling the combined presence of the three Saiyan warriors, showed signs of weakness. However, in a desperate act, the dark energy intensified its hold on Broly, raising its power even higher and unleashing unbridled fury.
We can't give up! We're going to free Broly, whatever it takes!
The battle reached its climax as the three Saiyan warriors, Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta, clashed against the shadow creature possessing Broly. The unleashed energy created a spectacle of flashes, explosions, and shockwaves that shook the battlefield. Goku, with his power as a Super Saiyan, moved with astonishing speed, launched energy blasts and accurate punches at the shadow creature. Gohan, in his mystical form, unleashed a combination of fast attacks and advanced techniques, seeking to weaken the dark possession that controlled Broly. Vegeta, in his Super Saiyan second phase form, displayed titanic power, coordinating his attacks with calculated precision.
Broly, listen to my voice! Don't be consumed by this darkness!
The shadow creature, however, resisted tenaciously, harnessing Broly's brute strength and ferocity to counter the Saiyan's attacks. Broly, under the dark possession, responded with unstoppable strength, his attacks more intense and uncontrolled.
We need to weaken that possession! Come on, guys, keep up the pressure!
This dark power won't last forever. We must resist!
The battle grew more frantic with each passing moment. The shadow creature, sensing the threat of the Saiyans, intensified its hold on Broly, fusing its dark energy with the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan.
We can't back down now! Broly's our friend, and we won't let this darkness control him!
In a moment of perfect synchronization, the three Saiyans focused their energies into a coordinated attack. Goku launched a Kamehameha, Gohan unleashed a Masenko, and Vegeta fired a final flash, all aimed at the shadow creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the battlefield, creating an energy storm. However, when the light faded, the shadow creature and Broly still stood, visibly weakened but far from defeated.
It's not enough! We must find a way to free Broly from this possession!
At that moment, the shadow creature, taking advantage of the Saiyan's momentary weakness, launched a surprise attack, sending Goku and Gohan to the ground. Vegeta, with his rage in his eyes, stood up determined.
Enough's enough! We won't let this thing continue to manipulate Broly.
Vegeta concentrated his ki to the maximum, unleashing a new transformation. His intense blue aura transformed into an even brighter and more powerful hue.
Super Saiyan Blue!
The atmosphere itself seemed to tremble at the magnitude of the transformation. Vegeta, now in his evolved form, launched himself towards the shadow creature with renewed speed and power. Vegeta's transformation in Super Saiyan Blue evolved caused a dramatic change in the intensity of the battle. His bright blue aura flashed with overwhelming energy as he charged towards the shadowy creature and Broly, who was still under his influence.
It's time to put an end to this. Broly, I'll fight to free you from this darkness.
The shadow creature, sensing the threat posed by Super Saiyan Blue, adopted a defensive stance. On the other hand, Broly, his eyes still darkened, prepared to face Vegeta. Vegeta unleashed a flurry of quick and precise attacks, combining punches and kicks with astonishing speed. Each move was charged with the strength of the new form, and the shadow creature was forced to retreat in the face of Vegeta's fury.
Broly, regain control. I'll not allow this darkness to consume you.
Broly, under the influence of the dark possession, responded with impressive stamina. His attacks were brutal and uncontrolled, but Vegeta moved with a dexterity that defied expectations.
I need to find an opening in this possession.
In an act of bravery, Vegeta launched himself directly towards Broly. Their fists collided forcefully, and Vegeta, using all his skill, made precise strikes that temporarily weakened the dark influence.
Broly, fight this! You're stronger than this darkness!
The shadowy creature, seeing Vegeta's resistance, increased his energy and fused even more with Broly. Now the dark influence was more entrenched than ever, and Broly unleashed an explosion of wild power.
You can't stop me, Saiyan Prince!
Vegeta, not backing down, continued to engage Broly. The battle reached new heights as both warriors unleashed the most powerful attacks. Vegeta launched a Big Bang attack while Broly responded with a gigantic charge of dark energy. The collision of energies generated a huge explosion that blanketed the area. After the dust settled, Vegeta lay on the ground, clearly exhausted but not giving up.
I can't lose. My determination's stronger than your darkness.
The battle between Vegeta and Broly, who was possessed by the shadow creature, reached a critical point. The overflowing energy of the confrontation was spreading across the battlefield, distorting the air and creating palpable tension. At that crucial moment, Goku found himself regaining consciousness, stood up, and immediately went to Saiyan Prince's side.
Vegeta, let's go! Let's give it all we've got!
Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan Phase 2 and joined the fray. The shadow creature, seeing the arrival of another Saiyan warrior, prepared to face the new threat.
Kakarot, you're just in time. This thing has gotten stronger with Broly.
We'll face it together! Broly, we won't let this darkness control you!
The three Saiyans stood in formation, ready to deal with the shadow creature fused with Broly. The intensity of the conflict increased even more, with flashes of energy and clashes of fists echoing throughout the battlefield.
Come on, Kakarot, let's attack in unison and free Broly.
I got it, Vegeta! Together, we'll free him!
The Saiyans coordinated their attacks, launching a combined blast towards the shadow creature. Despite their efforts, Broly's dark possession was still resisting, fueled by the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan. Broly, under the influence of the shadow creature, unleashed an uncontrolled fury. His attacks were unpredictable and devastating, putting the Saiyans on the defensive. Goku, Vegeta, and the shadow creature continued to exchange energy blasts and powerful blows.
Vegeta, We must break that possession. We can't let Broly fall into darkness.
Roger that, Kakarot. Let's keep attacking together.
Amidst the chaos of the battlefield, the fiery aura of the Saiyans lit up the sky, a visual manifestation of their mammoth power. Goku and Vegeta, feeling the weight of the battle, decided to take it a step further. They joined their energies in a symphony of power, a final bid to tear apart the shadows enveloping the evil presence. The shadow creature on the brink of the abyss responded with desperation. It raised its own power and the darkness churned with intensity as it struggled to resist the combined onslaught of the Saiyans. The clash of energies created a cataclysm of flashes and booms, shaking the battlefield to its core. At that critical moment, the energy explosion was unleashed with dazzling magnificence. The earth shook, and the shockwaves swept across the landscape, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, enveloped in the blanket of the explosion, were momentarily eclipsed by the blinding light and dancing shadow. When the shimmering luminosity faded, the Saiyans found themselves faced with a new scenario. On the ground lay Broly, his figure shrouded in a residual haze of the contest. The dark aura that had consumed him had finally dissipated. Stillness reigned on the battlefield. As the warriors approached with worried looks, the formidable warrior who now resisted, his power darkened, finally silenced.
We did it, Vegeta. Broly's free.
Yes, but this shadow creature's still a problem. We can't let our guard down.
Vegeta nodded grimly as they watched Broly, who lay on the ground, slowly recovering from the intense battle. However, at that moment of apparent calm, the shadow creature, cunning and unnoticed, had left Broly's possession to seek a new host. The dark entity swiftly swept into the shadows, unnoticed by the Saiyans, who still assessing their companion's condition. Silently, the shadow creature crept towards Gohan, who had been watching the battle from a distance. Gohan, oblivious to the threat looming over him, felt a shiver run down his spine, just as the shadow creature enveloped him with its dark presence. A momentary flash of its eyes indicated that something was terribly wrong. At that instant, Gohan, with a sudden alteration in his expression, went on guard without warning. His gaze, now posed by the shadow creature, glowed with a malevolence that contrasted with his gentle nature. Goku, noticing the sudden tension, turned towards Gohan, but before he could react, Gohan, under the influence of the shadow creature, moved with supernatural speed. The confrontation with Broly had left the Saiyans exhausted, and the shadow creature, seizing the opportunity, vanished into the darkness along with Gohan. Vegeta, realizing the situation, gritted his teeth in fury. The threat persisted, and now Gohan, a valuable ally, was in the hands of the shadows. Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for a new confrontation, aware that the battle had not yet come to an end. The tension in the air was palpable, as Goku and Vegeta, still worried about Broly, with determination, turned towards the place where the dark entity had vanished.
Damn it, where'd that thing go?
I don't know, Vegeta, but we must find it before it hurts Gohan.
The two Saiyans, quick as the wind, rushed towards where Gohan had been standing, their senses alert. The shadow creature, now inside Gohan, emerged from the shadows with a sinister laugh.
Looks like they're not as cunning as they thought. Now I have a new toy for my plans. Get out of Gohan, you damn creature.
I'll not allow you to possess my son.
Ha! You think you could stop me? My power possesses even more of your combined forces. Do not underestimate the Saiyans. We have overcome greater challenges than you.
Leave Gohan and face your fate, creature. You'll not be victorious.
The shadow creature, now in control of Gohan, smiled malevolently before responding.
We'll see how long you can resist. Gohan is now an instrument of my will.
The shadow creature possessing Gohan unleashed a burst of dark energy that distorted the surrounding space. Goku and Vegeta suddenly found themselves during a chaotic confrontation, with Gohan now transformed into an instrument of the malevolent entity. The waves of energy radiating from Gohan's possessed figure created an ominous aura that filled the battlefield, defying the Saiyans' endurance and determination. The Saiyans, in their Super Saiyan Blue form, prepared for the impending clash. The shadow creature, using Gohan's body, moved with supernatural agility, dodging the Saiyans' first attacks with grace and malice. Gohan, his eyes now filled with darkness, lunged at Goku with astonishing speed. Goku blocked Gohan's first few blows with difficulty, feeling the enhanced strength and speed of his new controlled son. The fight was intense, each move charged with power and ferocity. Meanwhile, Vegeta positioned himself strategically, assessing the situation, looking for an opening to attack. The shadow creature, through Gohan, unleashed a flurry of attack, which devastating blows that kept Goku on the defensive. However, Goku's ability to adapt quickly to the battle allowed him to counter the attacks and counterattack with his own overwhelming power. Vegeta, sensing an opportunity, lunged at the shadow creature from an unexpected angle. However, the dark entity had sharp reflexes and deflected Vegeta's attack with ease, throwing Gohan against Goku as a distraction. The shadow creature's strategy paid off, as it took advantage of the distraction to hit Vegeta with a beam of dark energy. Vegeta, although he resisted the impact, was momentarily weakened. The entity, now with a malevolent smile, turned to him.
Damn it! This isn't over, shadow creature.
Goku reacted quickly, stepped between the shadow creature and Vegeta.
Vegeta, hold on! We can't let this thing divide us!
The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos at its zone, released a dark aura that enveloped both Saiyans. The dark energy sought to confuse and weaken their senses, however the Saiyans' instinctive connection to Ki enabled them to resist the dark influence. The battle raged in a frenzy of clashing colors and energies. Gohan, controlled by the shadow creature, moved with a mixture of speed and agility that defied the laws of physics. Goku and Vegeta, each focusing on their own battlefront, were trying to coordinate their attacks to free Gohan from the dark possession.
Gohan, fight this darkness! You're stronger than this!
Gohan, though showing flashes of resistance, was caught in an internal struggle between his will and the shadow creature's control. The battle grew more challenging. With each passing second, the shadow creature reveled in its ability to manipulate and corrupt one of Earth's mightiest warriors. Vegeta, recovering from the earlier onslaught, threw himself back into the fray. The shadow creature, however, anticipated his attack and gracefully dodged Vegeta's attempts to strike it. The dark entity counterattacked with a series of precise blows that forced Vegeta to retreat.
You damn shadow. Don't underestimate the Prince of the Saiyans.
Goku, seeing his partner's difficulty, raised his power to the maximum. Dazzling energy emanated from his Super Saiyan Blue form as he prepared for a concentrated attack. The shadow creature, noticing the glowing threat, diverted its attention to Goku.
Vegeta, keep up the pressure! I'm gonna concentrate my energy to free Gohan!
Vegeta nodded and increased his offensive, distracting the shadow creature as Goku concentrated his power. The fight reached a new level of intensity, with each move echoing across the vast battlefield. The energy collided, creating shockwaves that distorted reality itself. Goku, eyes glowing with determination, unleashed his most powerful attack. A sphere of glowing blue energy formed in his outstretched hands. Charged with the combined strength of the Saiyans, the spear grew in size and the power as Goku had held it in place.
It's time to free Gohan!
The shadow creature, realizing the threat, moved quickly to stop Goku's attack. Vegeta, taking advantage of the distraction, lunged with renewed fury, looking for an opening to attack. The battle reached its climax when Goku released the energy sphere, ascending it directly towards the shadow creature. The energy sphere burst into a dazzling flash, illuminating the battlefield with intense light. Shockwaves swept through the darkness as Goku's purifying energy sought to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession. However, as the light faded and the earth stopped shaking, the shadow creature emerged seemingly unharmed. The dark entity, now irritated, turned to the Saiyans with a twisted laugh.
Is that all you can do? My power is unbreakable.
Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for the next assault. The battle, far from ending, dragged on into confrontation of epic proportions. Darkness and light collided in an endless clash, with the will of the Saiyans resisting against the entity that threatened to plunge them into the shadows. The dark creature, after resisting Goku's powerful attack, showed a malicious smile. A dark glow enveloped Gohan, and his body began to tremble with intensity. A guttural scream echoed through the air as the dark entity forced a unique transformation on the Saiyan warrior. Gohan, under the shadow creature's influence, contorted and his body was enveloped in a dark, feral energy. The earth trembled with the intensity of the transformation, and Gohan's figure began to change. Defined musculature, red eyes, a wild gaze, long gray hair, and emerging in the new form, Gohan Dark Beast. Vegeta and Goku, shocked by the unexpected evolution, instinctively recoiled from the overwhelming presence of Dark Gohan Beast. The shadow creature had accomplished what it could not do with Broly, unleash a unique and uncontrolled transformation on Gohan. Dark Beast Gohan, now freed from any hint of rationality, roared skyward, emitting an overwhelming energy that shook the battlefield. His eyes glowed with an animalistic intensity, and his posture indicated that human control was suppressed.
This can't be happening. What did that thing do?
The shadow creature managed to unlock something inside Gohan. This won't be easy.
The shadow creature, pleased with the success of its manipulation, watched the scene with satisfaction.
Now, witness my true power, the Saiyan Beast Warrior. How do you plan to stop him?
Dark Beast Gohan let out a deafening roar and lunged towards Vegeta with impressive speed. Dark Beast Gohan's attacks were ferociously savage, his brute strength and speed surpassing even Broly's most rampaging transformation. Vegeta, using his speed and agility, dodged Dark Beast Gohan's first attacks. However, the Saiyan Beast Warrior's ferocity was unpredictable, and Vegeta was forced to deploy all his skill to stay out of range of the devastating attacks. Goku, assessing the situation, transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and rushed to Vegeta's aid. The two Saiyans fought in tactical coordination, looking to open an opportunity to counter Gohan's savage new form. The battle became a whirlwind of energy, with explosions and crashes echoing across the battlefield. The shadow creature in the shadows continued to manipulate and fuel Dark Beast Gohan's fury. The Saiyan strategy was becoming more and more challenging as Dark Beast Gohan seemed to be one step ahead, anticipating their moves.
Damn it! Gohan Beast is too unpredictable.
We must find a way to free Gohan from this transformation. We can't let the shadow control his true power.
As the Saiyans faced Gohan Beast's fury, the shadow creature watched from the shadows, enjoying the chaos he had unleashed. The situation was becoming more critical with each passing moment, and the Saiyans' endurance was being tested in the face of Beast Gohan's uncontrollable fury. The battle raged on in a titanic struggle between light and darkness, with the hope of freeing Gohan from the influence of the shadow creature hanging in delicate balance. The Saiyans, determined to overcome this challenge, faced an enemy that had managed to unleash an even greater internal threat than before. While the intense battle raged on the battlefield, Piccolo, the Namekian sage, was immersed in his mental training somewhere secluded. His concentration was so deep that he could feel an abrupt shift in ki, a disturbance that reverberated through space and time. A shiver ran down his back, indicating the gravity of the situation.
Something's not right.
The Namekian instantly stood up, his cloak billowing as he focused on the direction of the glowing chaos. The power he felt was not just brute force. It was an amalgam of dark energies that seemed to defy the very essence of reality. Wasting no time, Piccolo prepared to approach this side of the conflict. Back on the battlefield, Goku and Vegeta fought valiantly against Dark Beast Gohan, who moved with uncontrollable ferocity under the influence of the shadow creature. The dark entity, sensing Piccolo's arrival, smirked.
Looks like we have a new guest. This just gets more interesting.
Goku and Vegeta focused on Gohan Beast, noticing Piccolo's presence as he appeared on the battlefield with a serenity that contrasted with the surrounding chaos.
What happened here? What have you done with Gohan? That shadow thing possessed Gohan and transformed it into a wild beast.
We can't free Gohan this way. The shadow creature manipulates his power in unimaginable ways.
Dark Beast Gohan, noticing Piccolo's arrival, turned to him with wild eyes. The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos, prepared for the next act of this heartbreaking play.
Welcome, Piccolo. You're just in time to witness the inevitable downfall of these Saiyans. Don't underestimate the Saiyans or my determination. I'm here to free Gohan.
The Namekian braced himself for the confrontation, deploying his ki with an intensity that made it clear he would not be a mere spectator in this battle. Dark Beast Gohan, fueled by the shadowy influence, roared and lunged towards Piccolo with a speed that defied all logic. The battle became even more chaotic with Piccolo's entrance. His movements were precise and calculated, contrasting with the wild ferocity of Dark Beast Gohan. Goku and Vegeta, aware of Piccolo's strategic skill, adjusted their approach to coordinate their attacks with the Namekian. Meanwhile, the shadow creature watched the battle with a Machiavellian smile, enjoying the confrontation between the forces of light and shadow. The dark entity was determined to prove that its influence was insurmountable. The fight unfolded in a whirlwind of colliding energies, with Piccolo demonstrating his tactical and strategic prowess. Dark Beast Gohan, however, remained a formidable challenge, his erratic movements and uncontrolled strength testing the tenacity of the warriors on the battlefield.
Goku, Vegeta, we need to plan to break the connection between Gohan and that shadow creature.
You're right, Piccolo. We need to attack from different fronts and destabilize that connection.
I'll take care of keeping Beast Gohan busy. Kakarot, you use the connection you have with your son to try to isolate the shadow creature.
Goku and Vegeta, coordinating their efforts with Piccolo's strategic expertise, went on the assault. Piccolo used his wisdom to be able to devise a way to get Dark Beast Gohan out of said possession, while Vegeta unleashed his fury with calculated attacks to keep the beast at bay. As the battle continued, the shadow creature began to feel the pressure of the combined strategy of the Saiyans and Piccolo. The connection between Gohan and the Dark Entity was under threat, and the shadow creature, despite its confidence, was beginning to show signs of concern. The battle was far from over, but the warriors' resilience was growing stronger in the face of the adversity that loomed over them. As Piccolo continued his mental struggle to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession, his Namekian senses sharpened. Keen perception led him to identify a small shadow leech clinging to Dark Beast Gohan's lower neck, a detail that had not been evident in Broly's previous possession due to his long hair covering that region.
That's it. The key in this little shadow leech on his neck. We must eliminate it to free Gohan.
Piccolo's revelation attracted the attention of Vegeta and Goku on the physical battlefield. Vegeta, upon hearing this, turned his gaze to the back of Gohan Beast's dark neck and noticed the presence of the Shadow Leech.
A Shadow Leech? That explains why we couldn't free Broly this way.
How do we eliminate it without harming Gohan?
As Piccolo struggled to maintain his mental connection, he analyzed this situation and came up with a strategy.
If we attack the Shadow Leech directly, we might harm Gohan in the process. We need a precise way to eliminate it without endangering his life.
So what's the plan, Piccolo?
Goku, you've mastered Ultra Instinct, but you can only maintain it for a few seconds. We need to take advantage of those brief moments to distract Dark Beast Gohan and allow you to get close enough to destroy the Shadow Leech.
Understood, Piccolo. I'll do my best.
But how do we make sure Beast Gohan doesn't attack while Kakarot's approaching? That's the tricky part. We need to keep Gohan busy and distracted. Vegeta, your attacks must be precise and constant, keeping his attention on you.
I will, but Kakarot, don't make me regret this.
The battle resumed with renowned intensity. Vegeta went on the offensive, attacking Gohan Dark Beast with a series of swift and powerful blows. Gohan responded with ferocity, but Vegeta maintained agile, dodging his attacks while keeping the savage Saiyan warrior's attention. At that moment, Goku concentrated, channeling Ultra Instinct. An aura of flickering energy surrounded him as he activated the powerful transformation. His speed increased exponentially, allowing him to easily dodge Dark Beast Gohan's attacks.
Now, Goku, now's your chance.
Goku in his Ultra Instinct state moved with superhuman speed towards Gohan's rear. The shadow creature, still focused on the fierce confrontation with Vegeta, did not notice Goku's approach. This is my chance to end this! With pinpoint accuracy, Goku reached out his hand and touched the small shadow leech on Gohan's neck. The leech, upon being touched by the Ultra Instinct energy, began to fade, emitting a dark screech before dissolving completely. Dark Beast Gohan, losing connection with the Shadow Leech, shook violently, as if releasing himself from a trance. Vegeta, noticing the change, cautiously stepped back as Goku returned to his normal state. What happened?
Kakarot seems to have found a way to free you from that thing.
It was risky, but it worked.
Well done, Goku, but don't let your guard down. This shadow creature might have more tricks up its sleeve.
The immediate threat had been neutralized. The shadow creature, watching from the shadows, moving away unnoticed by the Saiyan warriors, was not about to give up, so the shadow creature set out to return to its master. After the terrifying moment that the Z warriors had experienced, Goku and Vegeta realized that Beerus and Whis were not on Earth. They had disappeared just moments before the shadow creatures appeared on Earth. This is because Daishinkan discovered that Zeno-sama had been killed by his father and immediately summoned all the angels and gods of destruction. In the majestic realm of all, Daishinkan, the High Priest, summoned all the angels and gods of destruction of the existing universes. The atmosphere in the hall was unusually tense, and concern was reflected in the faces of those present. Daishinkan, with his usual calmness, prepared to share the disturbing truth he had discovered.
Angels and gods of destruction, the time has come to face a powerful truth. Zeno-sama, our beloved king of all, has been slain.
Silence fell over the hall. The angels and the gods of destruction exchanged looks of disbelief and dismay. No one expected that such a tragedy could occur, especially at the hands of someone so powerful.
My investigation revealed that the one responsible for this abominable act was Zeno-sama's own father.
The news resounded like a somber echo in the room. Everyone present processed the shocking revelation. The omnipresent figure of Zeno-sama, the supreme deity, had been shattered by his own protagonist. Mohito, Sidra's angel, spoke in a worried voice. How is it possible that a being as powerful as Zeno-sama's father could have committed such an act?
That is a question for which I still have no answers. But now we must face the consequences of this event. The stability of the multiverse is in danger.
Arak, the god of destruction of Quitella, asked, "And what measures will we take in the face of this threat? What'll happen to the throne of Zeno-sama?"
That is a question we must discuss and resolve. For now, the throne remains empty, and our duty is to maintain peace and balance. But before we make hasty decisions, we need to fully understand the magnitude of this situation.
Beerus and Whis prepared to inform the gods of destruction and angels of all universes about what they had witnessed while on planet Earth with Goku and Vegeta. The Hall of the Realm of Everything was filled with celestial beings, each one expectant and worried about the news they were about to receive.
Attention everyone! We have crucial information to share about the events that have been unfolded.
Before we are summoned here, the father of Zeno-sama appeared on all the planets of the multiverse. Surprise was reflected on the faces of those present. Murmurs and whispers filled the room, as the gods of destruction and angels exchanged looks of disbelief. His visit was not simply to report the death of Zeno-sama. He announced the holding of the tournament that would determine the survival of the planets in each universe. Additional rumors filled the room, creating a constant buzz of concern. The gods of destruction and angels wanted to understand the implications of such an announcement.
He informed the rules of the tournament and the intentions behind such a competition, but it's necessary that we all work together to get answers and face this threat. It is time to join forces and overcome this crisis. The fate of our universes is at stake.
As the gods and angels absorbed the gravity of the situation, in every corner of the Hall of the Realm of Everything, conversations and plans were brewing to confront the mysterious tournament that threatened to upset the balance of the multiverse. Uncertainty hung in the air, but the determination of the divine beings was determined to face the unknown that lay ahead. In the Hall of Everything, Daishinkan, the High Priest, sensed the imminent arrival of extremely powerful entities heading for the different planets of the multiverse. His face reflected seriousness as he prepared to inform all the angels and gods of destruction present of the coming threat.
Gods and angels of destruction, the time has come to face a new and challenging threat. Entities of great power are headed towards the planets of our universes, and their goal seems to be a direct confrontation with the strongest warriors of each world.
The expressions of those present became serious. Aware of the gravity of the situation, Daishinkan continued with determination.
It's crucial that we move quickly to protect the strongest warriors of each planet, regardless of which universe they belong to. The threat we face does not respect universal boundaries, and we must act with unity to preserve the balance.
Vados, the Angel of Champa, raised his hand.
How do you plan for us to move, Daishinkan? We each have responsibilities in our universes. I understand the complexity of this situation, but the magnitude of this threat requires immediate action. I suggest that every angel and god of destruction move to the planets threatened by this unknown force. We must prevent the strongest warriors from being defeated before we can fully understand our enemies.
Sounds like a sensible plan, Daishinkan. If we all work together, we can protect our warriors and gain more information about these powerful entities. Each angel and god of destruction nodded in agreement, accepting the need to act immediately. They moved quickly to the various planets, casting aside universal barriers in a joint effort to safeguard the multiverse.
May the wisdom and power of each of you guide this effort. Let us not underestimate this new threat. Our duty is to protect the existence of our universes.
With those words, the angels and gods of destruction dispersed, leaving the Hall of All in preparation to face a challenge that transcended universal boundaries and demanded the collaboration of all divine beings. Uncertainty hung in the air, but determination to preserve the balance of the multiverse guided the powerful beings in their joint mission. The angels and gods of destruction quickly teleported to the threatened planets, each determined to protect the strongest warriors on the various planets. In the blink of an eye, the skies lit up with flashes of divine energy as Awamo and Ewin, Cognac and Quitella, Matanu and Geen, Whis and Beerus, and the other angels and gods of destruction headed toward their assigned destinations. The planet Thraxis Nocturnae lay peaceful in the corner of the cosmos, its nocturnal luminosity radiating a tranquility that was about to be disturbed. In the vast space, Awamo the angel, with his small book in hand, and his god of destruction Ewin, an imposing figure with a stern gaze, detected the arrival of a shadow creature, a minion of Zeno-sama's father. The creature, shrouded in malevolent darkness, descended with malevolent determination towards Thraxis Nocturnae. Ewin, without hesitation, deployed his energy of destruction while Awano stood by, hoping to resolve the conflict without a bath of chaos. Creature, your darkness will not be tolerated in this realm. Stop your destructive plans. The shadow creature emanated a guttural growl, its presence emanating an unnatural energy that distorted the space around it. The space battle began with an explosion of opposing forces. Ewin launched destructive beams, while Awamo used his speed to dodge the attacks and assess the situation. Ewin, this creature's stronger than we imagined. We must be cautious. I know, Awamo, but we can't let him destroy Thraxis Nocturnae. We must give our best. The shadow creature, agile and evasive, responded to the attacks with dark energy waves that distorted space. The battle spread across the firmament, leaving traces of destructive energy in its wake. Ewin tried to anticipate the creature's movements. However, the shadow creature proved to be agile and adaptive, countering every strategy with an unmatched dark force.
Our conventional methods don't work. Ewin, we need to combine our forces.
I agree, Awamo. It's time to show them the true power of destruction. Awamo and Ewin merged their energies, creating a flash of light that defied the surrounding darkness. The shadow creature, perceiving the threat, intensified its own energy, generating a collision of cosmic forces that shook space itself. The battle reached a fever pitch, with cosmic explosions lighting up the scene as Awamo and Ewin struggled to contain the darkness. The struggle took place not only on the physical plane, but also on the spiritual one, where the will to protect Thraxis Nocturnae was pitted against the ruthless ambition of the shadow creature. The fusion of Awamo and Ewin unleashed a dazzling energy that eclipsed even the nocturnal luminosity of Thraxis Nocturnae. The gold and violet glow enveloped the divine couple as they prepared to face the dark threat looming over the peaceful planet. It's time to show the true extent of our power, Awamo. The shadow creature, aware of the growing threat, rushed towards them with supernatural speed. Awamo, with his keen perception, anticipated every movement of the creature, allowing the couple to dodge its onslaughts with heavenly elegance.
Keep calm, Ewin. We must synchronize our movements to counteract their darkness.
Ewin nodded and unleashed a series of destructive energy blasts that lit up the space around him. However, the shadow creature responded with amazing agility, dodging every attack with meandering movements. The battle became a cosmic game of strategy and speed. The angel Awamo and the god of destruction Ewin soon realized that in order to defeat this entity, they would need a coordinated attack that transcended the limits of their individual abilities. In a moment of perfect timing, they unleashed a gale of combined energy. Awamo channeled the energy of destruction while Ewin released violet flashes of destruction.
Focus your energy, Awamo. Let's get rid of this darkness once and for all.
Awamo nodded and joined the attack with determination. The fused energy of both angel and god turned into a spear of golden and violet light that pierced through space with an impressive speed. The shadow creature, caught in the torrent of power, let out a heart-rending howl as it was enveloped by the luminosity. The impact was abysmal, generating an expansive wave that shook the cosmos. The darkness that enveloped the creature began to dissipate, revealing its twisted and weakened form. Owamo and Ewin, exhausted but triumphant, stood on guard ready for any eventuality.
We have managed to contain their darkness, but we can't let our guard down.
The shadow creature, now visibly weakened, recoiled before the imposing presence of Owamo and Ewin. The light had prevailed over the darkness in the cosmic corner of Thraxis Nocturne. The divine couple remained firm in their duty to protect the planet that this creature wanted to destroy. However, the battle was not yet over, and the fates of the planets remained uncertain in the vastness of space. After the shocked combined attack of Owamo and Ewin, the space around Thraxis Nocturne was vibrating with the residual energy of the cosmic battle. The shadow creature, apparently weakened, remained suspended in the cosmic void, enveloped in a dark glow that seemed to absorb the surrounding light. The divine couple watched cautiously, aware that the fate of Thraxis Nocturne was still hung in the cosmic balance.
Ewin, something's not right. The darkness of that creature seems to be getting stronger instead of weaker. It seems that our attack has absorbed by her, but it shouldn't be possible. How can he transform our energy of destruction to his own power?
The shadow creature, now surrounded by a more intense aura, began to change its shape. Its twisted figure became more defined. His eyes shone with a malevolent lucidity. The darkness emanating from her was becoming denser, distorting the space around her.
You have underestimated my true potential, angel and god of destruction. Your energy has strengthened me beyond your comprehension.
The divine couple prepared for what was to come next, aware that the threat they faced had evolved. The shadow creature, now empowered by the absorbed energy, charged towards them with renewed speed and ferocity.
We need to be more cautious, Ewin. It seems that every blow we inflict makes her stronger. Understood, Owamo, but we can't allow this darkness to devour Thraxis Nocturne.
The battle resumed with increased intensity. The shadow creature attacked with bursts of dark energy that cut through space, while Owamo and Ewin responded with flashes of golden and violet light. The cosmic dance of lights and shadows painted an epic picture in the vastness of the universe. Each blow and backlash echoed like thunder in space, distorting reality itself. Owamo, with his keen perception, tried to anticipate the movements of the dark creature, but the dark entity proved to be unpredictable. Ewin, with his energy of destruction, sought to weaken the creature, but his attacks seemed to be absorbed and turned into an additional source of power.
Every time we hit her, her power increases. We can't go on like this. We must find a way to counteract his ability to absorb our energy. Do you have any ideas, Owamo?
Owamo pondered for a moment, his angelic mind working in search of a solution. Meanwhile, the shadow creature, aware of its opponent's confusion, took the opportunity to launch a surprise attack. A wave of dark energy enveloped Owamo and Ewin, distorting their perception and weakening their defenses.
Your resistance is useless. I am the embodiment of darkness. His light cannot prevail before me.
The situation was becoming more and more desperate for the divine couple as they struggled to resist the shadow creature's attacks. Owamo turned his attention to the small book he always carried with him. An idea began to form in his mind.
Ewin, I think I have an idea, but we need to synchronize our attacks in a different way. Explain yourself, Owamo.
Owamo explained his plan to Ewin, who nodded in understanding. Both God and Angel prepared to put their strategy into practice. The shadow creature, confident in its superiority, launched into the attack again, but this time Owamo and Ewin were ready to respond differently.
Now, Ewin, combine your energy of destruction with mine in a more controlled way.
Ewin nodded and channeled his energy to Owamo, who, in turn, merged it with his. Instead of launching a direct attack, they created a sphere of combined light and energy that floated between them.
Do you think this tactic will change the outcome? We'll see.
The energy sphere began to slowly expand, emanating a glowing light that contrasted the surrounding darkness. The shadow creature, curious but confident, watched the development with disdain.
The fused power is not only destructive, but it also has properties that counteract its absorption capacity.
The combined energy sphere, now reaching its maximum expansion, released a wave of light and energy that enveloped the shadow creature. This time, instead of absorbing the power, the darkness that characterized her began to dissipate.
What is this? My power should not be weakened.
We create an energy that goes beyond destruction and creation, one that neutralizes the darkness that you're trying to absorb.
The shadow creature, weakened by Awamo and Iwin's strategic counterattack, retreated as the combined energy sphere continued to exert its effect. The light emanating from the sphere began to purify the darkness surrounding the entity, revealing its original form before corruption.
It seems our tactic's working, but we must make sure we contain it completely.
We can't let our guard down. Let's continue with the strategy until the creature's completely neutralized.
The space battle continued, but this time Awamo and Iwin had the upper hand. His sphere of combined energy continued to exert its purifying effect, dispelling the darkness that threatened Thraxis Nocturne. With each passing moment, the shadow creature grew weaker. The light of hope began to shine in the corner of the cosmos that was once on the verge of destruction. The shadow creature, weakened by Awamo and Iwin's strategy, retreated into space, its distorted form twisting as the combined energy sphere continued to purify the darkness that enveloped it. In a desperate attempt to regain its strength, the shadow creature began to explore its surroundings, looking for an opportunity to turn the situation in his favor.
My power is weakened here. I need to find a place where darkness prevails.
While exploring, the shadow creature noticed something that favored him. His eyes flashed with malevolent anticipation as he discovered that this world was called Thraxis Nocturne because it was a planet plunged into shadows. The dark entity smiled malevolently as he realized that this planet could provide the darkness needed to revitalize his power.
Ha 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 ha! Thraxis Nocturne, a feast of darkness awaits me!
With amazing speed, the shadow creature launched itself towards the planet, traversing space with great speed. Awamo and Iwin, aware of his intentions, followed closely, determined to stop any attempt by the shadow creature to plunge into the darkness of the planet. As the creature approached Thraxis Nocturne, the darkness of the planet seemed to intensify, as if responding to its presence. The planet's nighttime atmosphere shone with a faint luminosity, offering a fascinating contrast to the surrounding stars.
Iwin, we must prevent the creature from being filled with dark power. If she succeeds, it'll be even more difficult to stop her.
Understood, Awamo.
We'll not allow the darkness of this planet to fall into the hands of that entity.
The shadow creature descended on Thraxis Nocturne with a terrifying impetus. As she approached, the darkness seemed to take her in, enveloping her with a gloomy welcome. The shadow creature began to absorb the darkness of the planet, its twisted form vibrating with a new energy as it filled with the essence of Thraxis Nocturne.
Ha 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 ha! Yes, this darkness will strengthen me. Nothing can stop me now.
Awamo and Iwin, wasting no time, headed towards the shadow creature, determined to stop its advance before it became unstoppable. The battle in the shadows of Thraxis Nocturne was about to take a very drastic turn.
We cannot allow this darkness to completely corrupt this creature. We must stop her before she becomes invincible.
Your previous strategy was effective, Awamo. Let's keep working together to counter his power.
Deep in the shadows of Thraxis Nocturne, the intense presence of the absorbing shadow creature did not go unnoticed by the most powerful warriors on the planet. Turles, Bardock, Raditz, Frieza, and his brother Cooler felt the darkness increasing around them and, with a mixture of amazement and concern, headed toward the epicenter of the threat.
Something's not right. The darkness in this place is getting denser.
Whatever it is, we cannot let it threaten Thraxis Nocturne. Let's investigate.
The warriors moved nimbly across the gloomy terrain, advancing towards the source of the darkness. As they got closer, the atmosphere became heavier, as if the shadow itself wanted to resist their advance.
The darkness is different. I feel a strange pressure.
I'm not afraid of the dark, but this is unusual. Cooler, stay alert.
Understood, Frieza. Let's find out what's going on.
Suddenly, a wave of dark energy erupted before them, revealing the shadow creature that was absorbing the darkness of the planet. His twisted figure and malevolent aura were as evident as the threat he posed to Thraxus Nocturne.
Warriors of this planet, his darkness feeds me. Soon I will be unstoppable.
We won't let you destroy Thraxus Nocturne. Get ready, creature.
The warriors went on the attack, each unleashing their unique power against the dark entity. Turles unleashed his evil aura, releasing bursts of destructive energy. Bardock channeled his Saiyan fury into powerful blows, while Raditz and Cooler coordinated their attacks to create a symphony of destruction. Frieza intensifying the struggle.
This creature doesn't know who he's up against.
Your resistance is useless. Each blow only increases my power.
The shadow creature, powered by the darkness of Thraxus Nocturne, absorbed attacks with defiant ease. Each impact seemed to strengthen rather than weaken it, plunging the warriors into the disturbing reality that they were facing an enemy that fed on its own darkness.
It's not working. He's getting stronger and stronger.
We need to change our strategy. We can't let it absorb all the darkness on the planet.
While the warriors struggled to find an effective strategy, the shadow creature, with its distorted laughter, continued to absorb the darkness, becoming more and more powerful. The Battle of Thraxus Nocturne's survival was at its most critical, and the warriors knew that they had to find a solution before the dark entity became invincible. The dark aura released by the shadow creature enveloped the warriors of Thraxus Nocturne, gradually weakening them. The warriors struggled to stay on their feet as the entity's malevolent energy infiltrated their bodies, obscuring their vital forces.
This is it. Too much.
I can't let that defeat us like this.
The warriors, despite their bravery, were overcome by the darkness emanating from the aura of the shadow creature. At that critical moment, when hope seemed to be fading, a heavenly light pierced the shadows. Owamo and Ewin, the angels charged with protecting Thraxus Nocturne, arrived on the battlefield.
The darkness emanating from this creature is breathtaking. We cannot allow it to take over this planet. Time to show these warriors how to fight true darkness.
The angel spread his wings, and together with the god of destruction, they advanced towards the shadow creature, his presence radiating a luminosity that defied the malevolent nature of the dark aura. As it approached, the dark entities sensed the arrival of divine beings and turned to face the new threat.
Ha 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 ha! More insignificant beings. His light will be devoured by my darkness. Don't underestimate the power of light. Darkness cannot resist the true essence of creation.
Owamo extended his hand, and a purifying light enveloped the battlefield, counteracting the dark effect of the creature's aura. Ewin, on the other hand, deployed the energy of destruction, creating a perfect balance between light and darkness. The shadow creature, for the first time, felt the pressure of forces that it could not easily absorb or resist. The conflict took a turn, and the battle became more intense as the angel and god of destruction faced the dark entity with the unique combination of light and destruction.
The real struggle starts now. We'll protect Thraxus Nocturne from the darkness you represent.
The fight between the angels and the shadow creature reached impressive levels, with bursts of energy illuminating the dark planet of Thraxus Nocturne. Meanwhile, the warriors, freed from the debilitating effects of the dark aura, watched the fight, hoping that their planet would not be destroyed. In the dark skies of Thraxus Nocturne, the stage was transformed into a cosmic battlefield, where divine light and malevolent darkness collided in an epic confrontation. Owamo and Ewin, the guardians of this planet, displayed their celestial power with a grace and precision that defied description. The glow of the purifying light emanating from Ewin and Owamo spread across the space, illuminating the shadows that the shadow creature was trying to grasp. Ewin and Owamo's every move was a ballet of divine energy, as they gracefully dodged the dark attacks encountered with unstoppable force. Owamo's wings shone with a resplendent light, like stars in the night, as he invoked the very essence of creation to repel the dark forces rising up against him. By his side, Ewin radiated an imposing presence, with his penetrating gaze fixed on the creature as it defying the darkness itself. The shadow creature, on the other hand, was fighting with an impressive ferocity, trying to resist the overwhelming power of Ewin and Iwamo. Their dark attacks were launched like ravenous shadows, seeking to consume the divine light that surrounded them. However, every attack was countered by the impenetrable force of Ewin and Iwamo, who remained firm in their purpose to protect the planet. The clash between light and darkness created a symphony of cosmic energy, with flashes of light and bursts of energy illuminating the firmament. The light will always prevail over the darkness. Your power is formidable, but it cannot resist the purity of creation.
You can't stop me. I'm the very embodiment of darkness.
Darkness can be powerful, but the real strength lies in balance, and we represent that balance. Ewin and Iwamo continued to deploy their energy with amazing precision, creating light barriers that repelled the attacks of the shadow creature. Every movement of Ewin and Iwamo was imbued with a divine elegance and grace, while the creature struggled with a desperate ferocity. Our mission is to protect the harmony of the universe, and that includes protecting this planet from your darkness.
You can't stop me. I'm inevitable.
The shadow creature launched waves of dark energy, but Ewin and Iwamo easily repelled them, maintaining an opposing presence in the midst of battle. Every blow of Ewin and Iwamo resonated with the force of creation, while the creature struggled more and more desperately. The darkness can be a challenge, but our determination's unwavering. We'll not let you destroy this planet. Your power may be formidable, but it cannot equal the eternal light of the universe. The battle continued with Ewin and Iwamo and the shadow creature facing off in an epic clash between light and dark. In the midst of the struggle, Father Zeno silently watched from his kingdom, perceived the magnitude of the conflict. With an imperceptible gesture, he decided to intervene, taking Ewin and Iwamo to a mental plane where they could confront the shadow creature in a terrain beyond the physical. In a flash of dazzling light, Iwamo and Ewin were transported to an ethereal realm, where the laws of the universe twisted and blurred. Where are we, Ewin? We have entered the realm of the mind, a place where reality is molded according to the will of the observer. Here the real battle will be fought in the deepest corners of our being. While Iwamo and Ewin were transported to a mental plane by Father Zeno, the shadow creature continued its fierce assault against the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne. Turles, Bardock, Raditz, Frieza, and Cooler, the most powerful warriors on the planet, rose up against the darkness that threatened to consume their home. The shadow creature, imbued with a dark and malevolent aura, hovered over them with an overwhelming presence. He distorted his energy, enveloping everything around him, tearing reality itself apart, and threatening to plunge the planet into an abyss of chaos.
We won't let you destroy our home, shadow monster.
We, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne, are not afraid of the dark.
We have faced much greater dangers than you, creature.
We will fight together to protect our world.
The shadow creature launched a powerful dark attack towards the warriors, but they responded with relentless ferocity. Turles, his eyes shining with determination, unleashed a shower of destructive energy, summoning the very essence of nature to channel it in a torrent of energetic attacks. Their powerful attacks cut through the darkness with devastating precision, creating dazzling explosions that lit up the planet's night sky. Bardock, with his fiery ki and indomitable spirit, channeled his energy into a powerful attack. His fists were burning with a searing intensity as he launched a concentrated burst of energy towards the shadow creature, challenging its strength with its own. Bardock's attack resonated with the determination of an invincible warrior, willing to give everything for the protection of his world. Raditz and Cooler, united in battle, joined in a coordinated assault on the shadow creature. With fluid and coordinated movements, they launched bursts of energy from different angles, creating a barrier of attacks that surrounded their enemy. The shadow creature struggled to defend itself against the combined onslaught of the two powerful warriors, but its resistance was challenged by the determination and skill of Raditz and Cooler. Meanwhile, Frieza, with his golden form glowing with a golden aura, was preparing to unleash his full power against the shadow creature. His eyes shone with a cold and calculated determination as he focused his energy on a devastating attack. With a graceful and precise movement, Frieza unleashed a burst of golden energy that swirled with unparalleled destructive power, threatening to envelop the shadow creature in a mantle of fire and destruction. The battle escalated as the warriors of Thraxus Nocturne bravely faced the darkness that threatened their world. Every blow, every burst of energy echoed through space, creating a spectacle of destruction and determination. Meanwhile, on the mental plane, Awamo and Ewin were engaged in a metaphysical struggle against Father Zeno, an omnipotent entity whose presence radiated an aura of indescribable power. Ewin and Awamo, aware of the gravity of the situation, desperately sought the intervention of Father Zeno to counter the threat of the shadow creature. However, to their surprise, Father Zeno solemnly informed them that they could not intervene directly, since the balance of the universe had to be kept intact even in times of crisis. Awamo and Ewin, although unhappy with Father Zeno's decision, understood the importance of respecting the laws of the cosmos. With determination, they plunged even deeper into the metaphysical struggle, using all their ingenuity and power to find a solution to the crisis unfolding in Thraxus Nocturne. As a confrontation on the mental plane reached its climax, Awamo and Ewin found themselves face to face with the imposing Father Zeno. His figure radiated an indisputable authority, but also an aura of mystery that aroused restlessness in the Ewin and Awamo. Awamo, with his usual serenity, broke the tense silence that filled the ethereal space. "Father Zeno," he began in a firm but respectful tone, "could it be you that... were you the one who sent the shadow creatures to destroy the planets?" Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, nodded slowly.
"I did it for the good of the universe," he replied calmly.
Although his voice resonated with a power that shook Ewin and Awamo, sometimes drastic measures must be taken to preserve the cosmic balance. Ewin, with a flash of indignation in his eyes, could not contain himself anymore. "But that doesn't justify the chaos and destruction you've unleashed!" he exclaimed, his voice echoing with unshakable determination. "There are other ways to restore balance without resorting to violence and darkness." Father Zeno observed the god of destruction and his angel with a penetrating gaze, as if he were evaluating their words and their posture.
"Your compassion is admirable, but sometimes it's necessary to sacrifice a few pieces to save the entire board,"
he said in an enigmatic tone. Awamo and Ewin exchanged determined glances. Although they respected Father Zeno's authority, they knew that they had to follow their own principles and convictions. With courage, they prepared to challenge the omnipotent being in front of them, willing to fight for what they believed was right, even if it meant facing the divinity itself. The air on the mental plane was charged with tension, as Awamo and Ewin prepared to face Father Zeno. Their divine auras collided in a show of titanic forces, as Ewin and Awamo prepared to challenge the supreme being in front of them. Awamo, with his heavenly book in hand, looked at Father Zeno with determination. "Father Zeno, although we respect your authority, we cannot allow you to continue with this destruction," he stated firmly. "We'll fight for peace and balance in the universe, even if it means standing up to you." Father Zeno, with an impenetrable calm, nodded in recognition.
"Your courage is admirable, but you will not be able to stop me," he replied calmly. "The fate of the universe is in my hands, and I'll do whatever it takes to preserve its balance."
Without further words, the battle began with a burst of divine energy. Awamo unleashed his celestial power, summoning rays of light that he threw against Father Zeno, while Ewin threw waves of energy with determination. However, Father Zeno showed impressive resilience, deflecting every attack with surprising ease. The fight went on for what seemed like an eternity, with Ewin and Awamo and Father Zeno trading punches and counterpunches in a cosmic dance of power and skill. Every movement was imbued with a supernatural force, while the mental plane trembled under the intensity of his conflict. However, as time passed, Awamo and Ewin began to feel the weight of their opponent. Father Zeno's power was overwhelming, and every blow Ewin and Awamo received weakened them even more. Despite their bravery and determination, it seemed that they were fighting against an impossible-to-defeat force. Awamo, panting from the effort, looked at his companion with concern. "Ewin, we can't go on like this," he admitted sincerely. "Father Zeno's too powerful for us." Ewin, though exhausted, nodded determinedly.
"I know, Awamo, but we can't give up," he replied firmly. "We must keep fighting, for Thraxus Nocturne, and for all beings in the universe."
With a final effort, Ewin and Awamo gathered their forces to launch a final attack against Father Zeno.
However, the Supreme Being easily overcame them, deflecting his power with a contemptuous gesture. Father Zeno looked at Iwan and Iwamo with a mixture of admiration and regret.
They're brave, but their struggle has come to an end, he solemnly declared. Accept your defeat and let fate take its course.
With a resigned sigh, Iwamo and Iwan surrendered to Father Zeno's overwhelming strength. Although they had fought with all their heart and soul, they knew that they could not defeat the Supreme Being in front of them. Father Zeno, with a compassionate look, looked at them benevolently.
Rest now, my brave creations,
he said gently.
His bravery will be remembered throughout the universe.
Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, extended his hand towards the exhausted Iwan and Iwamo. In an instant, a powerful burst of cosmic energy emanated from his palm, enveloping Iwamo and Iwan in a dazzling radiance. Iwan and Iwamo screamed in agony as Father Zeno's energy enveloped them, feeling every fiber of their being torn apart under the relentless power of the Supreme Being. Their bodies, imbued with divine light, were slowly consumed in the maelstrom of energy, fading little by little into the ether of the cosmos. Iwamo and Iwan fought with all their might to resist the cataclysm that engulfed them, but it was useless. The power of Father Zeno surpassed them in every respect, and they were soon reduced to mere shadows of their former glory. With the last gasp, Iwamo and Iwan exploded, leaving body parts all over the mental space, dissipating into cosmic nothingness while their essence merged with the universe. At that precise moment, we return to the earthly plane, where the fierce battle between the most powerful warriors of Thraxis Nocturne and the shadow creature was reaching its climax. Bursts of energy and thunderous crashes echoed in the air, while Bardock, in the middle of the combat, glimpsed Iwamo and Iwan, who were lying unconscious on the ground, enveloped in a halo of divine light. Surprise and dismay were reflected on the faces of the warriors, who momentarily stopped their frantic struggle upon realizing the situation. Bardock, his eyes wide open, watched in horror as Iwan and Iwamo's bodies began to shake, emanating flashes of energy that increased in intensity with each passing second. A tense silence enveloped the battlefield as everyone watched the scene in disbelief. Suddenly, a heart-rending explosion echoed in the air, making the earth and sky tremble. Bardock and the other warriors were thrown back by the force of the explosion, protecting themselves as best as they could from the shockwave that was spreading around them. When the afterglow of the explosion faded, what was left was a smoking crater where Iwamo and Iwan once stood. The warriors slowly stood up, stunned by what they had just witnessed, as the shadow creature, now shrouded in an even denser darkness, prepared to lash out again before the protecting warriors of Thraxis Nocturne. Bardock clenched his fist determinedly, feeling a mixture of sadness and fury burn inside him. He knew that they must continue the fight, not only for the honor of their planet, but also in memory of the brave fallen guardians. With a war cry, the warriors rushed into combat again, determined to avenge the loss of their comrades and protect their home from the darkness that threatened to consume it. After the devastating explosion that killed Iwamo and Iwan, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne gathered in a circle, still stunned by what had happened. Bardock, with a gloomy look, broke the silence with a grave tone.
Damn it! What the hell just happened?
Charles, frowning, shook his head in disbelief.
I don't know, but we can't let this sacrifice be in vain. We need to get this thing over with once and for all.
Raditz, with his fist clenched, furiously nodded determinedly.
You're right! Iwamo and Iwan gave their lives to protect this planet. We cannot disappoint his sacrifice.
Freza, with his usual impassive expression, spoke in a cold and calculated tone.
The death of Iwan and Iwamo should not be in vain. We must unite and concentrate our efforts on defeating that shadow creature.
Cooler, with a serious look, added determinedly,
We are facing an unprecedented threat, but if we fight together, we can overcome it. Let's do it for the honor of Thraxis Nocturne, for the legacy of our brave comrades.
Bardock nodded solemnly, his jaw tense with determination.
So, are we in agreement? We'll fight together until the end and avenge our fallen.
The warriors nodded in agreement, sharing a look of determination and unity. With their hearts filled with determination, they prepared to face once again the darkness that threatened their home. As the warriors prepared to face the shadow creature again, a fierce determination burned in their hearts. Turles, feeling the energy of the battle, was the first to unleash his power.
It's time to show them our true power!
With a powerful scream, Turles wrapped himself in an aura of energy. Her dark hair turned golden and her eyes shone with a dazzling intensity. The energy of the Super Saiyan emanated from his being, infusing strength and determination into his entire being. Raditz, inspired by Turtle's example, followed suit. It's my turn! With a burst of energy, Raditz's dark hair bristled, turning golden just like his brother's. His ki increased dramatically, emanating a commanding presence that filled the battlefield. Seeing the transformation of his comrades, Bardock also joined the fray.
I can't stay behind!
With a battle cry, Bardock unleashed all his power. His fiery aura enveloped him in a higher golden glow. His energy increased to astronomical levels, propelling him towards a higher form of his race. Frieza, observing the transformation of the Saiyans, did not want to be left behind.
The time has come to show my true strength.
With a burst of energy, Frieza transformed into his golden form of maximum power similar to 100% full power. His body radiating a golden glow. His power multiplied several times, turning him into an unstoppable force that rivaled the sunlight itself. Cooler, feeling the energy surrounding him, decided to join the fight with all his might.
It's time to unleash my true potential.
With a flash of energy, Cooler transformed into his metallic form, his body glowing with a metallic luster. His stamina and power increased exponentially, making him an invincible force that would defy even the gods. With their transformations complete, the warriors of Thraxus Nocturne once again faced the shadow creature with renewed determination and a power that eclipsed any darkness. In the skies of Thraxus Nocturne, the battle continued as the transformed warriors faced off against the shadow creature, a being whose dark power threatened to devour everything in its path. With each of the warriors unleashing their full potential, the cosmos trembled under the force of their epic showdown. The golden aura of Turles, Raditz, and Bardock, combined with the imposing presence of Frieza and Cooler in their transformed forms, formed a dazzling spectacle in the night sky. Energy flickered around them, lighting up the darkness with golden and silver flashes as they prepared for the final showdown. The shadow creature, sensing his power of his adversaries, emanated a rumbling roar that echoed through the planet. His dark form seemed to twist and distort as he prepared for the final assault.
It's time to end this once and for all!
With a battle cry, Turles lunged forward. His speed increased by his Super Saiyan form. The shadow creature responded with an onslaught of dark energy, but Turles nimbly dodged it, moving with astonishing speed across the battlefield. Raditz and Bardock followed Turles' lead, attacking with relentless ferocity. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature's attacks were swift and fierce, but the Saiyans deftly dodged them, responding with even more powerful blows.
Father, let's keep the pressure on this thing. We can't let it destroy our home.
I know. We're not going to allow this monster to destroy Thraxus Nocturne. Our power is more than enough to end it.
That's right. You taught us to fight with courage and determination. We'll not back down before this creature is destroyed.
Take this!
The shadow creature dodged Bardock's attack with agility, launching its counterattack with its sharp claws.
Careful, Father.
Don't worry about me. I'm more than ready for this.
And take this too.
Raditz's attacks hit the shadow creature hard, but it quickly recovered and counterattacked with a surge of dark energy.
Damn, this thing's tougher than I thought.
We can't give up now. Our planet depends on us.
You're right. Let's show you what we're capable of.
The two Saiyans launched into the air attack once more with renewed determination. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature, although resistant, was overcome by the ferocity of the Saiyans. Turles, with his golden hair flowing behind him, launched a quick series of precise punches, each one carrying with it the power of his transformation into Super Saiyan. His movements were fluid and graceful, as if he were dancing around his enemy, dodging every attack with impressive agility.
There's no escape for you, monster! Your darkness can't compete with the power of the Super Saiyan!
With a battle cry, Turles lashed out at the shadow creature, striking with overwhelming force. Every blow resounded in the air, shaking the battlefield with its power. The shadow creature was fighting desperately, but its attack seemed weak compared to Turles' ferocity. Meanwhile, Raditz and Bardock were continuing their assault on the shadow creature. Their attacks were coordinated and precise, each complementing the other in a deadly dance of destruction. The shadow creature found itself increasingly cornered, unable to cope with the combined might of the Saiyans.
Come on, Father. We know we can stop this thing.
I know, Raditz. Let's keep pushing until there's nothing left of this creature.
With renewed determination, the two Saiyans redoubled their efforts, launching a series of devastating attacks against the shadow creature. Each blow echoed in the air, carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. Frieza and Cooler were watching the battle intently from a distance, their cold gazes evaluating every move of the Saiyans and the shadow creature. As the fight intensified, they noticed with increasing concern how the shadow creature began to gain more strength, releasing a dark energy that threatened to destabilize this situation.
It seems that the things are getting more complicated than I expected.
Yes, the shadow creature seems to be gaining ground.
If we don't intervene soon, we could face an even more dangerous situation.
With a cold determination, Frieza and Cooler exchanged a glance before heading towards the battlefield. His presence made itself felt immediately. His overbearing aura flooded the area as they prepared to face the shadow creature.
Looks like we need to intervene before things get out of control.
I agree. We cannot allow this shadow creature to wreak more havoc on our planet.
With surprising speed, Frieza and Cooler launched into action, deploying all the power in an effort to contain the shadow creature. His attacks were precise and devastating, each blow carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home. However, the shadow creature was not going to be easily defeated. With a thunderous scream, he split into 4 separate beings, each one darker and more malevolent than the last. The earth trembled under their weight as they advanced towards the warriors, ready to unleash their fury on them.
It seems that this creature has more tricks up its sleeve than we thought.
It doesn't matter. We have our own tricks.
Well, guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now, don't forget to leave your powerful like, Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now, without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.